Thanks for joining us once more here at the SMITE Minor League. My name is Finch, and I am happy to have you here with us. I do want to make sure I let you all know the Battle for Olympus skins are out there for you. You can grab Zappy, Chibi, Zeus, and Spirit Son Ho Yi. Make sure you pick those up now. In fact, I'm pretty sure if you get the Chibi Zeus skin, Aggro will just be your best friend. So grab it now while you can. I'm joined here by Taco. Happy to have you right here next to me as we go into our last set of the day. Cryptik up against Space Station.
And Space Station Gold, hoping to have, I think, a better start than what they did in Phase 1. I think just about anything might go better for the team in Phase 2 here.
Sure.
But Cryptik, on the other hand, I mean, this is not going to be an easy matchup for either side.
No, I don't think so either. This is kind of a matchup between two of our teams. I would say they're a bit more middle of the pack. And I actually do mean to give Space Station a little bit of credit there, because I think they improved a lot towards the end of the phase as opposed to where they started. Obviously, it was a bit rough, and maybe they weren't all quite on the same page about, how they were practicing and that sort of thing. It looked to me like they really started to iron that out. So I expect this to be a pretty close match here as we move into picks and bans for game number 1.
I have to keep in mind, both of these teams have definitely undergone some roster changes as well.
Space
Station Gold. However, for Space Station Gold, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be Ocean subbing in for Amiel today.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So Oceans will be in there. That's right. As you said, it is normally Amiel in that mid spot, so certainly be great to get a chance to look at him. Cryptik, of course, might have some different looks as well, so we'll get those confirmed for you. But Scotty being banned, finally, put some respect on it. Cryptik taking that one off the board right away. I'm a bit surprised his first pick, they wouldn't want to let that one slide through, especially the way the bans have been going today.
She has kind of just been laying underneath the radar for a hot minute now, but I'm expecting that to probably change a little bit more so once the SPL debut starts to come forward.
There's a good chance we might see some more of that on Thursday and Friday. Remember, that's when those SPL games are. Esports Weekly tomorrow. You don't want to miss that either, as all 3 of our bans are in: Merlin, Erlang, Shen, and Kronos. Space Station don't want to see those. Cryptik add the Isis and the Muzen Cobb along with the Scotty ban they've gone for. So Zhong still open. He's been a highly valued pick. So has Thor with some of the changes that he's had. There's a lot still out there. Good, though, the Erlang Shen's not.
A really early Zhong pick, though, might lead Space Station to just looking for the ultimate Zhong killer and Nemesis, not even going to hesitate. But there needs to be some consistencies, I think, when it comes to trying to help the Nemesis in terms of beads, burners, and the like. And if this Nemesis is solely designed for taking out that Zhong, then there needs to be a heavy front line so that the Nemesis can have space to work in.
Someone who can come in and back him up. Maybe even a Nike wouldn't feel bad. Those slows, the ability to kind of push back a little bit with that shield could all help. As Ho Yi gets prioritized and locked in, we've seen a lot of Soul, Hachiman being prioritized here, but Cryptik are choosing Ho Yi this early on. I wonder if there's a chance that that's like a mid-lane pick for them, though they do already have Zhong. Maybe Zhong ADC and Ho Yi mid?
It could be Zhong ADC with the Ho Yi mid. We have seen a lot of that. I think Renegades have done a decent job of proving to all of us that mages are, in fact, viable in that dual lane position. But the Anhur answer back, I love the Anhur Ho Yi matchup if that does wind up being the case, simply because it's really interesting to see the pillar timings whenever players try to prevent that ricochet for the wave clear. And I mean, sometimes it works against you, though, if you're not careful. Those Ho Yi ricochets can find a home oftentimes throughout the pillar.
As you said, when they connect, that's calculated, right?
It is not fun.
you planned
You ever
it
been
out.
triple bounced by your own Anhur pillar? It doesn't feel good.
No, but I've also never been like quick enough to try and block a ricochet and maybe even mess myself up, so I don't even get into that end of the deep pool. So Morrigan banned out here by Space Station. That makes some sense. You just saw Shinto have a really impressive performance on this last game in the set right before this one, so get that one off the table. Can certainly be scary. Ares banned away, and it looks like a pass here from Space Station. A bit interesting. Maybe 5 bans is too many for them.
5 bans, they only need 4 to get the job done. Maybe,
they're used to it,
Maybe that's the Space Station mentality here, man. I don't know, but maybe they couldn't figure out what direction it was that Cryptik was trying to work in. With their current top 3, the only thing that I'm really able to read loud and clear from Cryptik is that this is a ton of not only laning pressure, but team fight AoE presence as well. Cabrakan to kind of corral everybody in and prevent the Nemesis from having as guaranteed of a chase or dive potential for that Zhong.
Well, there's the Soul I was saying has been popular here lately. I wonder if this Cabrakan signals that they want to do the 2 in duo lane start. He can be such a bully in the 2v2 that a lot of the times that's where his value can come from, though he is still plenty strong even without it, as Naja also comes in for Team Cryptik to give them even more flexibility. Still not 100% sure where all this stuff's going.
I think that I could see this Neja being worked into the jungle solely because of the fact that there's a Habois now, and so I feel like you want the Crushing Wave for the Windfire Wheels landing, but I don't think that it would really hurt Cryptik to have that Cabrakan in that jungle instead.
They've got a lot of flexibility here with this one. Athena coming in, so that must be, even with Sol and Anhur here, for the ADC role. That's the only place I can see her being played now after some of the performances we've seen earlier on in the week. Obviously, having a little bit of fun with the drat they have here now, that likely is going to be support.
I think Athena's going to be for support for sure.
A little bit surprised though, Matty, not on some of the picks we normally see him on. We'll see if it works for them in game number 1. I'll get it down to the casters.
The casters are getting down to the game. Me and Anatoly, your party people. How you feeling today, Toly?
Feeling really good, especially with Diesel playing this Habois. He's been known to play some of these mages in that long lane, even before the likes of others, such as Funball, Zapman from time to time. He loves to be creative. We'll see how he does with the Habois.
Habois is certainly a character that can fit that carry role. But another first pick is Zhong.
It's just a very safe pick, honestly. Solo lane has been his traditional role. We've seen him in the long lane for Funballer from time to time. Mid position, no stranger there either. MandoWarrior gonna probably have an easy time, I think, against Uzzy, not because of the player, but just because of the matchup.
ShadowChair, honestly sandwiched between two red players. I don't know what's going on there. Looking for the double bounce. Will find it. Not enough to get the kill. Jump in. Impale will do it, but he can't find it. Now Ocean's trying to deal. Impale's Cope. Basic attacks ShadowChair. The first blood goes to Space Station. The follow-up kill is all Cope, baby. Love the 2v1 though. That was cute. Perhaps an overextension. That said, the first blood, that's worth it.
Oh, absolutely worth it. But at the end of the day, no one really gathering that middle experience from Space Station Gold because of how low Chapo was after the fact. He was grabbing those right side mid camps to min-max his farming potential, going to grab those back camps, and a whole wave missed under that tier 1 tower, actually going the way of Cryptik.
Left side has belonged to SSGG, though. You can see the purple buff invade successful for Mattypocket and Oswaald. So a nice look there as well, as they've been able to push their pressure, since the Habois not exactly a level 1 fighter. As soon as Habois ready to fight, you wish he was level 1.
Pros and cons for Diesel on this Habois. He's kind of this ticking time bomb that you're just waiting to explode at the right timing for Cryptik. But in the meantime, this is what Space Station has to do, is lean on the weakness for Diesel now on the Habois, because they're not going to find it later on. So grabbing one purple buff is fine and dandy. But the question really needing to be asked is, can they grab 2, 3, and 4 purple buff invades later?
Because then you'll have the even 2v2, theoretically. I say theoretically, because ain't nobody joining Oswaald just yet. You can see everybody here on the map around that mid lane. Cope jumps onto Oceans. Impale won't find the stun, but it's good enough to send Cope backwards. Diesel out here trying to outrun the Soul. Not going to happen, though. Neither there.
Cope recognizing the fact that Oceans without the beads is easy target from that earlier 1-for-1 exchange. So a good idea to position himself to put pressure onto Oceans. You never want to allow any physical hunter in the mid lane any sort of freedom, because once they get those items and the levels, the scaling on their abilities really start to shine in Desert Fury. One of the higher ends of the scaling spectrum. Expect Ocean's damage to really skyrocket, to synergize also with that Nemesis ultimate coming out of Chapo.
And it's the mid game that you're really looking for. You know, Anhur I find Anhur is absurdly good in that mid game.
Understatement.
Yeah, I mean, he feels like, oh man, I don't know, comparatively speaking to some of the late game characters or early game characters in the game, he could feel like twice as powerful when he steps in and he has boots, an item, and one more maybe. That's really where Anhur just starts murdering you. You see the Impale come out, 4 basics, just kill you.
The combo is just so enabling between the passive, the Impale, the 20 physical protection reduction that you're looking for to get extra damage on your Impale, extra damage on that Desert Fury. And also, with the recent buffs to the Anhur, more damage percent uploaded at level 1 from the Shifting Sands. And on top of that also is the fact that his basic attacks are a little bit faster from the pre-fire, and also the range from that obelisk.
Well, there's the ultimate on MandoWarrior. Well, you saw that.
MandoWarrior used to stand in the solo lane, not any longer for another 5 seconds.
And I love that play because it's a full hard commit onto the right side of the map before the Fury is even available. So that jump is usually a little bit, you got to be careful making that play. Here though, no risk.
You say there was no risk, but if they don't get that kill, that's a lot of time wasted by not getting that kill.
Sure.
And that kill is only enabled because of the last pick, Athena from Mattypocket, a pick that he doesn't normally play, but he's showing a lot of comfort with this pick.
Pocket, not so comfortable there, and Cope very uncomfortable as he misses the ult. ShadowChair will take care of Oceans though. A nice ricochet there takes care of the mid lane Anhur, falling down the second time this contest. Has finished the Transcendence though, and now it's a whole new ball game for Oceans.
Cope, once he realized he was in trouble, having to use that Purification Beads, prevents all the CC, walks away cleanly with the use of his heal. And I was going to talk about the small, ever so small risk factor from Chapo making that gank onto MandoWarrior happen.
Right.
Was because he did that play while his speed buff was still up at the 445 mark. A very slight attention to detail, which I think that the top end players will definitely notice. When you're making that sacrifice, you're vulnerable to getting invaded on if that gank gets failed.
But it works two different ways, right? And of course the gank didn't fail. What you're also getting is the surprise factor. Because 9 times out of 10, you're a jungler, you expect the jungler to do the choreography that is the map.
Sure.
So when you gank, you'll actually see players of, red buff is spawning, and that's when I'm going to go gank, because you expect me to be at my red buff. Same thing with the speed buff, and like you said, had the gank gone awry, then you get invaded. But now, it's almost like a compound boon, where you give up the speed timer in order to get the element of surprise on the gank, but now your speed timers are not congruent, so you're able to make ganks when the other team is not ready for it. They don't know your exact speed timer, but you know theirs.
That's true. Chapo having a huge advantage and also going to be able to adapt to this gank from Copebby, at least getting a 1-for-1.
Mattypocket shows up and provides the slam damage. Cope, no ultimate available, but once the sash comes up, this is a dead Chapo. But Cope gets the kill anyway.
I was wondering why he was zigzagging for that long, because he's positioning himself to avoid the sash, avoid the ring bounce. The ultimate was already used, but by zigzagging away from the nausea.
Oh, the miss! Oh, Diesel!
Oh, no.
Oh, no! Oh, Oswaald with the absolute turnaround.
Yikes is all I have to say to that one. Diesel was anticipating the comeback out of Oswaald to go not towards the safety of his tower. It's a little bit of a mind game when you're trying to make a play 1v1, whether it be solo versus solo or hunter versus hunter.
That was, we're talking a centimeter, a millimeter.
You know what it was? Oswaald was on a surfboard riding the wave, literally, with the little soul booties.
In all honesty, you're not wrong. I was so incredibly close.
It was hang tank.
Oh, man, you hate to see it. You do hate to see it. Just the last bit on that Chapo piece, though. Waiting out the dash timer is really what was going on.
Yes.
Chapo sitting there just zigzagging, praying. Just miss your abilities, I get my double dash, I'm safe.
Yeah, but by doing that for that long, Cope's mobility allowed him to still position for the basic attack. So he was probably dead to rights anyway, but good little angle cut off out of Sibyl. Playing the Cabrakan, being a part of 3 of his team's 4 kills. I like the positioning from Sibyl.
Cabrakan has seen more play in 2 days than he has largely in 13 weeks. Copebby uses the sash, but the Athena's here. Tower dive, not on the menu. Oceans will wrap around, but it's more safety than anything else. The Cabrakan ultimate was changed a long time ago. We're largely the same god. Why have we seen so much Cabrakan?
I think it's just people forget about his effectiveness, like his burst damage. If you're looking for an aggressive guardian that provides a heavy front-loaded damage, you're looking at gods like Ymir, Kumbhakarna, Cabrakan. Everything else is more about sustained damage or more control aspect. Athena brings a lot of damage, but it has to be kind of perfectly aligned where they hit both of your third ability there. But instead, Cabrakan, he gets one stun off, a second one, he keeps you in place, and then even when you're trying to run away, you're kind of like in a drunken stupor from his trembles.
Yeah, the tremors is such a weird sort of crowd control, very annoying. And it's not the exact same as what makes it really annoying is it's not the exact same as Pocket's Drunk. You actually counteract Pocket's Drunk.
That's Cupid.
Red buff invaded by Team Cryptik. Space Station on the run. They might be able to catch Sibyl. Chapo changes to Diesel. Like the Jetta in 1998. Team Cryptik, though, not going to be available for that team.
I wish I got that reference a little bit out of tune there.
Well, Volkswagen switched to Diesel
Oh,
engines.
okay, I got you now. Okay.
little bit of a dig deep there for you, Toby.
Yeah, a little bit there.
Right now, Sibyl getting bopped hard. ShadowChair just watches. Drops the Suns, and that's not a slight. My tone defied my thought process. Not a slight at ShadowChair. There's nothing he could do but watch, honestly. 3 players surrounding the Cabrakan. What are you going to do, man?
As good as Cabrakan, oh, hold that thought though. Uzzy getting hit by the car and gets taken out.
Uzzy was a bear, but no longer there.
He's a snake, though. He's a big world serpent, Tom. He's not playing the RDO. He loves the RDO, don't get me wrong.
That's true.
But playing the Jormungandr. And I was going to mention how Sibyl on the Cabrakan, as good of his offensive god that he's been showing that it has the capabilities for, also demonstrating that could be vulnerable. After you use all your abilities, you don't have the mobility any longer with those walrus hands. You're a sitting duck during the tremors anyway. All the abilities, easy to line up on that Cabrakan.
One of my favorite SMITE colloquialisms, by the way.
The walrus hands?
The walrus hands. And, like, that's usually, like, that's usually my world, where I make some absurd terminology and it sticks. But the walrus hands.
But you see it, though, right?
I don't.
When the walrus moves.
I don't think that's.
He, like, you know.
So, I remember. There's a video out there that we can find. I think you're thinking of a different animal, but I'm here for the ride anyway.
The flippers are going, like, in a semicircle.
Well, Mattypocket is going to get knocked. Oh, the double bounce is strong. Mattypocket's likely to die, but I'm looking up north here. Will the red buff invade continue? Cryptik doesn't want any more. That time, Diesel hits the ultimate. What a change it is.
Diesel in a lot of trouble. Triple knockup out of Uzzy. Wow.
I didn't expect them to continue here. SSGG looking for the fight. Chapo finds another one. 1-1-4 for the jungler there on the Nemesis. Do you go for Gold Fury here?
Risky call, but without Diesel, it becomes a little more enticing, knowing that ShadowChair and MandoWarrior have the ultimates. If they identify Mando's nowhere to be found, they could sneak this one away.
Here comes the Suns. Doo-doo-doo-doo. And Space Station Gold. Take the gold. We're tied at 6. That Gold Fury will tie up the gold as well. Team fight after the fact, a little bit different. ShadowChair beats the knockup. It's big, but not big enough. Oceans with kill number 7.
A very good attempt out of Cryptik to try to steal it, but just overextending a little bit too far. A great idea for Space Station to abuse Cryptik's recklessness. They were getting the kills, sure, onto Mattypocket, but they invested so much of their health to try to get that kill that the chase became that much easier with a great rotation from Uzzy on the World Serpent, the knockup onto Diesel, no Haba presence available.
I always say there's a difference between aggression and recklessness. It's all right to be aggressive, and sometimes you need to be. But, and this goes beyond SMITE, you gotta be aggressive within reason. Too much aggressiveness turns into recklessness, and you just get punished.
That's right, Uzzy, though, forced to retreat, as is Matty, with half health. The blue buff shall be defended by Cryptik, no longer being stripped away. And I believe Space Station back and forth between these two teams. I think it was a 2,000 go lead earlier on, but for the most part, these teams are just waiting for that right opportunity. Once the respawn timers get a little bit later, that's when we're going to be seeing the big Fire Giant Daddy.
Half HP Uzzy. MandoWarrior last time really punished him with the surprise kill underneath the tower. I think Uzzy's going to be a little bit more aware this time. Diesel, though, this is where he starts to get scary. Boots and the Bancroft done, and that's why the entire team has shown up. Chapo here slowed down, tossed up to the fountain, but there comes the help from Mattypocket. Diesel goes down. Mando and Cope win the fight on the right side of the map. The Gold Fury is down already, which makes that gank a wonderful choice from Team Cryptik. Not only do they get the tier 1 Tolly, but the way Flaming Spear works, they might just get the tier 2.
It's possible with a great kill onto Uzzy, not even able to get off that World Serpent to escape his death. They're almost able to get that tier 2. You can tell MandoWarrior really wanted it a little bit longer, but Cope wanted to just grab any farm he can, gets the blue buff instead. MandoWarrior can still abuse Uzzy's respawn timer for another 5 seconds.
Meanwhile, Oswaald picking up the tier 1 on the left-hand side, and again, we find ourselves essentially tied as far as gold is concerned. 500 gold separate our teams, and that is a tie game in my book.
Especially at this point in the game, it's just not even worth mentioning, but I think it's going to come down to the experience difference between these two quote-unquote hunters, Oswaald on the Soul, Diesel on the Habwa. If Diesel continues to die the way he has been, he's going to be a non-factor.
At the same time, I'm looking in the jungle. If Chapo continues to not farm the way he has, he's going to be a non-factor. We've seen a fantastic job of Cope to be involved, but we see Chapo kind of suffering. You see this happen to a number of junglers where you're too busy helping your team and you can't get that farm yourself.
Yeah.
You're making a gank right, you're making a gank left, you're making a gank mid, you're making a gank left, and all of a sudden you realize my back Harpies have been up for 5 minutes.
I'm more worried for Diesel, though, because Chapo and the Nemesis can still make the plays that he needs to. He can just be the ult bot if he needs to. He can invest into cooldown reduction if he wants. He can absorb a lot of damage with that Retribution. You don't have to be level 20 any longer to receive the most benefit from the healing and also from a little bit of the shield health.
Certainly a fair statement. Have to keep our hand on the pulse to figure out which way these are going to go. Uzzy with the non-juke, getting on out of there. But so for Space Station to continue moving forward and find a victory in this game, where do you turn? Is it Oceans? Because right now I think Oceans is hitting his power spike. It's going to be assault onto MandoWarrior. The help out is on Uzzy's side. Here comes Space Station Gold. Mando about dead, but not done just yet. Into the World Serpent, there's the blink away. The second hit will miss as well. The third hit's gotta go. You've gotta find him, but a refocus as Maniac turns to the right-hand side. Uzzy, will continue to look here at Sibyl and Copebby. There's a little bit of a slow, but this has been an all-out mess from Space Station Gold. Cope finally falls. It took them so damn long.
It did, but with the turnaround play now, MandoWarrior is back and he's healthy, trying to make the comeback. Their frenzy has been popped. Uzzy without any mana. He should fall down to the slow from MandoWarrior if he applies the card one more time, but a little bit worried about Oswaald on the Soul.
Love this plan. You said just a moment ago Diesel continues to fall, continues to not really do it. That's going to be one of the biggest issues for Team Cryptik. So what does Team Cryptik do? They leave him alone. Let the man farm. All of a sudden, you look at the experience. These are evenly matched one more time. Some anti-heal along the way, so the itemization coming out for Diesel as well. This was a great plan from Team Cryptik. Not only do they get Diesel to get some farm on his own right, they pick up a mid lane tower, and all of a sudden, what was once a tie game is now a 1,500 gold lead here for Team Cryptik. A small one, but it is the beginning of what could certainly be the end.
It almost worked out for Cryptik despite losing out Copebby because of how MandoWarrior survived that initial fight and being able to teleport back into it. But the problem was Chapo narrowly escaping with an inch of his life. That Magai's Cloak coming up huge there as he was trapped out of Sybyl's Cabrakan ultimate, just getting out of dodge there.
Oni Fury here is huge for both teams, in all honesty. Space Station Gold right within striking distance, and Oni would be the way that they would do it. 40%, 20%, nobody needs to get a last hit, it's totally leashed. There's the Suns, and the Cryptik takes it one more time. ShadowChair again, providing what needs to be happening.
Cryptik able to steal that one away, but so far they're even winning the team fight at 2-for-1, only losing out Sibyl. Uzzy trying to respond in kind, but he's between a rock and a hard place.
And whatever that pavilion thing is, right?
Sure.
I was like, what is that? You know?
It's a building rising from Atlantis. Because it's halfway submerged. No? Meet me halfway here, Tom. Come on. Don't leave me high and dry like this.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Is
it's
that?
like sunken a little bit. Either quicksand.
Oh, it's
in
a
the abyss.
mausoleum. You
It's
see,
in the
no, it's a
abyss.
mausoleum. There's little skulls there.
Yeah. But it's in like the rift, right?
That's scary.
So it's like sinking into the rift.
Okay.
I thought it was like kind of, you know, submerged into Atlantis or whatever. But it's the rift.
I see it. Okay. All right. Well, either way, Cryptik trying to do just that. Rise from the rift.
Sure.
You got a little bit of a lead here as well. 3,000. 3,500, give or take. Look at that. 36. Ah, there's 35. 10 to 10, though. Do you remember? If I say 10-10, what do you say after that?
10-10 wins?
That works. I was going to say 220.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We're dating ourselves, totally.
There we are.
A group
go way
from
back.
Team Cryptik here, as they want to make the play on the Fire Giant. And the reason Toli and I are biding our time is because Team Cryptik are biding their time, as they should. This is a nice lead for Cryptik, but by no way, shape, or form is it completely overbearing. And so Team Cryptik have to kind of look around, see what's up, get a Pyromancer at first. If this is double the lead they have, maybe they just go for the Fire Giant. But they absolutely need to play their cards right and be a little bit careful. Chapo has been devastating. 2-1-7, trailing by 3 levels. But you said it right earlier. He just finds the right ult, finds the right slow, and assists his team truly.
He just needs to be patient about when to engage. He needs to allow Cryptik to be a little bit more comfortable and find the right angles to abuse anyone in that back line. If Diesel doesn't have his water carpet to get out, he's going to be a sitting duck, but it seems like the engage is on.
There's the right side flank coming out from Cryptik as well, but I got to keep an eye on Chapo, who's looking towards Diesel. Back jump is going to be from the Hunter, and Uzzy goes into the ultimate. Nobody's really winning this fight just yet. Up top, some low members of gold, but down south, some very important low members of Cryptik. Diesel will survive. That's huge, Toli. Sibyl looking at Uzzy one more time. Everyone spread. Nobody dead.
Oh, but the first victim might be ShadowChair, but instead, Chapo going to retreat instead of chasing him out. He's trusting his teammates to clean up. MandoWarrior on the Zhong Kui going to get slowed a little bit, but constant target switching.
Sibyl here, tanky as anything, so he's going to be able to walk away from the damage that SSGG have provided. The tier 1 tower on the right goes down. Not enough to tie the game, though. Space Station still trailing by about 3,000, 3,500. Team Cryptik are allowing this to happen because they know they won't lose really their lead. You want to take one of us, you want to take a tower, fine. What Cryptik are hoping is for the overcommit, the wipe, and the Fire Giant.
Without any kills in that last engagement, I'm still going to crown an MVP for that fight, and that's going to be Chapo with how he was able to bait himself out there with that Retribution Shield, solo absorbing the Habwa ultimate from Diesel. Being able to also distract ShadowChair, but the problem from the rest of his teammates was that there was too much target switching towards the tail end of it all. ShadowChair, he used his leap to disengage. He has nowhere else to go. And then all of a sudden they switched to MandoWarrior, which is like, okay, sure, Zhong Kui, he has no mobility either. And then they switched the third time to Sibyl on the Cabrakan under that tier 1 solo tower. And that kind of has me scratching my head here, Tom. They should have stuck to the one of the previous two.
Tried and true methods for sure. The Gold Fury is about to respawn. It will just be regular gold though. No Oni nor Elemental. Or excuse me, Primal. So we'll see if teams choose to prioritize that. Right now, Team Cryptik prioritizing the win. Early in our best of 3. Space Station Gold trailing by about 2,000, 3,000, give or take, wave to wave.
Little trap.
Chapo stunned out. Big ultimate coming out from Diesel. Knocked up. And what goes up? Must come down. But Athena does make it in. Is it enough to kill Diesel? Here comes Oswaald. There it is. The taunt backwards. The ball forwards. And down goes the Habwa. Sibyl could suffer the same fate. Just a matter of time. There's the blink. And now he could be safe.
I don't know. Mattypocket wants, you can tell, but the rest of his teammates calling him to do the objective. Sibyl is not going to be a factor in this next fight. He would just literally get sneezed on and would die. So in that vein, it's still technically a 4-on-3 in the Gold Fury if Space Station wanted to force the issue. But man, if that kill onto Chapo happened half a second earlier, Mattypocket would not have landed from that Defender of Olympus, and no one would have died.
Frenzy is popped. MandoWarrior looking for the team fight despite being on the receiving end of that frenzy. Uzzy is in trouble, stunned out. Meanwhile, damage coming out from MandoWarrior, carded up, exorcism on cooldown for another second. There's the execute. I don't know.
Trying to go on the back line to Sibyl, onto Oswaald, zoning him off with the walls. The Sun's being down from ShadowChair. Frenzy being popped, but it's a retreat from Space Station.
Not good enough. The retreat was cut short by ShadowChair as he rolls doubles. And Oswaald falls down. ShadowChair likely to go down. And will be the hand to elchapo. So it's a 3-for-2. Team Cryptik again on the upside of chaos.
But the problem here is with ShadowChair dead, where does their consistent damage go to from the objective? Yeah, Diesel does a lot of burst damage, but he's going to have Sibyl tank. Not the healthiest Cabrakan at the moment, sitting a level 15. Oceans around the corner. He knows is happening. His ultimate not up to contest. I believe Oceans did walk over a ward, and that's why the disengage is on.
We saw everybody from Space Station on the way. Ocean, Chapo showing up. Just a ward. They're not going to look for the objective themselves. Not enough damage there just yet.
Yet again, Space Station getting really pincered. They're getting outplayed in these team fights considerably, where the retreats, they're getting collapsed on, and then once they have a small opportunity to collapse on somebody out of position, and that somebody last team fight was MandoWarrior.
Right.
He was just kind of between the Mausoleum and that top side of the Gold Fury pit, one-on-one against Uzzy. And then everyone from Space Station Gold just kind of took a quick peek in Mando's direction, and then they're like, nah, we're not going to go on him. And he had no mana either. Like, the Zhong was basically utterly manaless, but the Gold Fury being sneaked out of Cryptik.
10% already. Leash it. See everybody creeping on up here. Here's the Athena ultimate. Space Station Gold. Don't want to overcommit. Copebby's going to land with one, and likely no. Chapo's still very healthy. Here comes MandoWarrior, zoning out towards the north, and doing more than zoning out. He's killing him, totally. As Mattypocket in trouble, looking for Sibyl. Nice stun. The Tremors, and Mattypocket is going to go down. Diesel with a big boy ult.
A good ultimate. It procs the Pride Wind passive to be able to get that health shield, baiting himself out there. Sibyl enables a 3-for-0 for his teammates. Great way to engage out of MandoWarrior, using that Blink Zhong ultimate. Getting these 3 kills could very easily allow Cryptik to go for more than just a Gold Fury if they really want to.
You know, the Zhong is also a pain to kill right now. Mantle of Discord, Winged Blade, and the Ethereal Staff.
A lot of health.
No, thank you.
A lot of health, a lot of protections. Can't forget about that passive. Mad Guy's Cloak is about to be completed at any given moment. Giving up the tier 2 tower to guarantee that Fire Giant. A nice try from Cope to stop the backs, but I think he'll be happy knowing that they can get this objective and start demolishing the remaining towers.
Nice and easy. This time uncontested. This time not really stolen. This time much more comfortable is the word I would use. Team Cryptik right now feeling pretty comfortable. 5,000 gold. Space Station's senior. 4 kills as well as it's 17-13. And as we are about 40 seconds into our 28th minute, I ask you, Anatoly, what does Team Cryptik need to do to end the game? Do you think it's necessary to kill all towers, or can they walk down one lane?
I think they will have to get all towers, and they're going to have to get kills during the Phoenix Sieges, because in a straight-up 5-on-5, it's hard to really navigate through Oceans is slow, through the taunts from Mattypocket that can enable a lot of follow-up damage coming out of Oswaald, and even Uzzy controlling a lot of space with his pools. I'm a little surprised not to see Uzzy invest into the Gem of Isolation for a little bit more control, but instead he had to go for a utility focus with the anti-healing.
We see the Pythax piece as well to help out his 2 ranged carries. Chapo gets credit for Cope as a tier 2 tower. The left side goes down nice and easily, and more gold in the pockets of Team Cryptik.
Space Station doing such a wonderful tactic of splitting the map. They know they can't possibly defend their tier 2 towers. Being down 5,000 gold is not the end of the world, but the way they've been playing these team fights, they're not really succeeding. So they're figuring, we're just going to PvE. But the problem for Cryptik was Cope was trying to win the 1v1, and he was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Gets caught with his pants down in a 1v3.
Half hour of play in the books, and Team Cryptik up by about 6K. I'm looking at Diesel, and I'm going to continue to look at Diesel. He does have the mage staff, the Mirrodin
Yeah, staff of Mirrodin,
which is very interesting. So we've talked a lot about Pridewood. It's a defensive one. Falnot, also very interesting. Staff of Mirrodin, you get 2 casts after you ultimate. Now it does say 70% less of its damage healing. Or excuse me, 30% of its normal damage healing, so it's 30% less. Getting hit by a Hebo 1, even with 30% less damage, hurts. Getting hit by it twice.
Sure. I think there's, outside of the 1, it's even the double knockup potentially, or even a double river. Like using 1 river to come closer or to disengage, or using a second one to continue that chase even further, might provide more utility in the long run to enable your teammates to be more effective with some of their basic attacks. Obviously, ShadowChair wanting to get off as many basics on his marked target as he possibly can. MandoWarrior wants to be in a position to slow everyone that he possibly could as well.
The double water hands is so much fun, though.
It really is.
Sometimes you buy, sometimes what I like to do.
The bracer, right?
Yeah, just upgraded bracer, 3rd item. I go, in the jungle, boots, Baroncroft, bracer 2. And just, it's the double pump. Shout out to the Fortnite World Cup. You go, pop, pop, and you just double pump them with the 1. Players die late game. Oh, I love it. So we get to see some of that with the staff of Mirrodin, hopefully. Chapo here looking to stop that in its tracks. Flank available to Nemesis. Cope has his enemy on his mind. Not willing to be surprised there. So, no. I thought Chapo was going to force that fight there.
No, he's just positioning himself that if the commitment out of Cryptik does occur, he's at the perfect angle for the flank and to isolate either ShadowChair or Diesel, or maybe even both, because the way Chapo has been doing it, hold that thought though, MandoWarrior going in.
And Cope is wrapping around the backside. Keep an eye on that assassin. Uzzy forced into the ultimate, will knock 1 up, and there's the Athena ultimate defensively. Frenzy is popped by Cryptik, but they haven't gotten anything off of it. 1 knockup hits 2 players. There's the trap. Cabrakan in charge, but the players don't follow up. Team Cryptik stay on the outside and watch.
They were just able to get away from the left side of the Cabrakan ultimate. A great taunt from Mattypocket was making it difficult to follow up afterwards. Diesel having to use his beads from that 1 cooldown. A good opportunity to delay the Fire Giant siege as it's about to respawn in the next 15 seconds.
It's a big point there, Toli. I did not see Mattypocket taunt. Without that taunt, there's no reason to walk away. Chase down for Space Station, very, very good. They get 1 kill here. ShadowChair is out for a minute. Now with that, Space Station gold, trying to get back some of their precious gold. 77,000 to 84,000. That's an uphill battle.
Uzzy with a great surprise onto ShadowChair, using the teleport to get behind this Hou-Yi in the mid lane. And now with a 5-on-4 advantage, I think Space Station Gold are hungry for more.
Frenzy is popped here again, and a great stun coming out from Sibyl. MandoWarrior trying to chase or be chased. 1 goes down for the other. It's a 2 for 2 so far. Diesel has arrived. Aegis is good. Where's the water cannon? Basic misses. There's the knockup. 2 for Hebo.
Ocean's in no man's land, walking towards enemy territory, but the chase is on Cope, stunning out Mattypocket. The blink coming through Sibyl. Diesel with the follow-up should be a 4th kill.
Well, Matty's going to dash away.
I'll die eventually.
Oh, that's the wrong choice. That's the wrong choice. Matty tried to ultimate out. Takes way too long.
He was dead either way, but he should have bought more time by keeping his body retreating south. That way, he would have positioned Cryptik further away from the Fire Giant and delayed that even further. But I also think that he didn't want to stagger his death for too long as well. But with his ultimate up, it's not the end of the world if it were to be that big of a difference. So with that in mind, MandoWarrior respawning in 5 seconds. Ocean's dead for another 13. It could be a 5-on-3 at this Fire Giant.
The enhanced Fire Giant. Certainly a big boy after 30 minutes. All 5 members of Cryptik are available. Fire Giant down to 50. Chapo's here, sniffs it out. Double dash on cooldown, trying to wrap on the backside, and Chapo. Good day, sir. Just gone. Fire Giant goes to Cryptik. That'll be a 10,000 plus gold lead.
I admire the courage to go in 1v4. If there's anyone that's going to make a play like that, Chapo is the one to do it. Like, if you have to ask somebody to make that play, you don't even have to ask Chapo to make that play. He's just going to make that play.
I always like that play. I talked about it with Taco earlier. You're sending one person into the belly of the beast, and worst case scenario, you die and don't get it.
Yeah.
Your timer at this moment in the game, even at 35 minutes being 40 plus, you still won't be out of the game long enough to impact the team fight.
And on top of that, he just wanted to all-in Diesel. With his Erendite sword, he wanted to really try to get that basic attack after using the Nemesis ultimate and maybe killing out Diesel. And if you strip away Diesel to not get that enhanced Fire Giant buff, then your life is definitely worth the life of Diesel.
Trade out. Always an interesting conversation. MandoWarrior going back to do some homework. Gotta clear out some of these minions. No big deal. The Oni Fury, though, certainly a big deal. This one needs to be taken, and it will be. Team Cryptik picked that up. A little bit of gold. Yes, we see that. They have about 99,000 gold right now, comparatively speaking, to SSGG's 83K.
This is looking really good for Cryptik in the first game of this best of 3 set top. Space Station Gold have been able to kind of combat them from time to time, but they haven't really been tested, I think, under their Phoenixes, where, yeah, they did lose their middle Phoenix, but that was a 4-on-5 defense that they weren't going to try to defend against the Fire Giant team. Wait for the respawn out of Chapo. They need to get that isolated target, but the way that Diesel has been positioning himself, that 1-3 start earlier where he had the 2-level deficit to Oswaald, is no longer a factor. So this late game Habwa is in full force.
Yeah, you can see those items coming online. The Staff of Mirrodin being one of them we spoke about a lot. The Obsidian Shard, just raw penetration. You need that. You need to get through players' defenses, especially as a Habwa. Uzzy up the top in front of his team. Sibyl up the top in front of his team. Left side will be the target. Everybody in their right spots. Mattypocket trying to play it safe, way out of combat, allowing himself to dash forward and grab a spot if need be. Nemesis ults Mando, and that forces him out. There's the ultimate coming out from Soul. That'll force him out. But Uzzy goes down. Sibyl forces him out. There's a pull, and there's the ultimate coming out from Cope. Everybody waiting on the bottom, and Cope takes care of Oswaald. Nice ultimate from Matty to the backside, but Space Station Gold are no longer on the front side. Mattypocket goes down. Ocean's on the run, and Chapo is behind the team. The Phoenix is the focus. Down it goes. And the Titan, already being beaten up by some minions over there, Tully, is going to go down as well. Great job. And just like that, first game goes to Team Cryptik.
A great performance out of Cryptik. It took them a little bit of time, but at 25-17, I think they're happy with the results at the end of the day. A great ultimate from Diesel to rip through Chapo and Mattypocket on that re-engage. Got to give credit a lot to the Naja performance there with all those ultimates coming out of Cope.
You know, that's interesting. We saw Cope. One of the bigger moments, I think, was when Cope missed that ultimate in mid lane.
Just the one, yeah.
Just the one. But that's the nature of Naja. He misses that ultimate in mid lane. Trust me, Cope. Wait till the end of my point. He misses the ultimate in mid lane, and everything goes bad for Cryptik after that. They die. They lose a lot of camps over there. After that, he goes and he hits the one ultimate that needs to be had to win the damn game. Game number 1 goes to Cryptik. Game number 2, we'll be back after this.
Respawn, the official gaming chair of the SMITE Minor League.
Welcome back to the SMITE Minor League. Finch here, joined by Taco yet again, and we're still in the middle of Cryptik up against Space Station. The first game went a little bit longer maybe than you would have expected, but it was because it was close for the most part. Space Station were kind of hanging in there.
Space Station was good about matching the energy from Cryptik, I think, in a lot of the team fight engagements. They were able to find picks, but ultimately, I think that some of the pressure MandoWarrior was able to find from solo definitely began trickling over into the rest of the engagements as the match continued to progress, and it was just too disjointed from Space Station to really pull out the victory.
That's what it felt like to me, too. Hopefully they can make some adjustments as they got the picks and bans ready for game number 2. Space Station being the first pick slot this time. Cryptik will be responding. And one more time, I'll remind everyone out there, you got 3 bans now in this first phase, then 2 on that second phase. And with that first one, Space Station taking away the Chronos, they absolutely don't want to see it. And you know what? I don't blame them. Get that Chronos out of here.
But wouldn't be too surprised to see Cryptik answer back immediately that Scotty being taken off the board.
Yep.
Also maybe anticipating an Erlang strip away, possibly from either Space Station or Cryptik, but clearly Space Station not trying to let Copebby have any repeat performances on that Ninja.
I think so too. Maybe try and get Uzzy a little bit more pressure over there in the solo lane. That couldn't hurt. I wouldn't mind seeing Ocean's a bit prioritized. If he is going to keep subbing in for them, then make sure that you get his pick a little bit sooner perhaps and put him into a good spot. I'd be excited to see what Space Station do to try and make him look a little bit better, as the Erlang Shen ban absolutely does come through, as you were saying there, Taco. Makes sense that one's banned. Then Isis and the Muzen Cobb have been banned out as well.
Ares is on the table still, though, and have to remember that that was actually a ban option in the first match from Cryptik, but Zhong seems to be the directive instead, and this is a healthy flex option, plus it's a takeaway from Cryptik, as everybody knows they already like running that Zhong.
I also wouldn't mind seeing an early Bacchus or Artio. Matty played a lot of those in Phase 1, and they were clearly just the comfort picks for him. He played really well on them, and other teams started to notice. They banned those out, so maybe prioritize those a little bit and get him on something comfortable in that support role. Not to say the Athena looked bad. He actually had a really good start on it. I just know that's kind of the wheelhouse.
Well, seeing that Kumbhakarna and Jing as the response options from Cryptik leads me to believe that maybe it is in Space Station's best directive to prioritize a pick for Matty here, because otherwise I would imagine that these 4th, 5th bans from Cryptik are probably going to be geared towards Matty, since he does have a little bit more limitations, I think, tends to kind of stick towards what he feels comfortable on.
Yeah, he has about, I would say, 3 or 4 that he'll flex into if need be, so maybe you can get in there and limit it, though it looks like they might not have a chance. Sylvanus picked up. I got to imagine that's for the support role. We don't see him in a lot of other roles that often. Thor has been picked up, though, and this is exactly the kind of thing I like seeing for Chapo, man. Lets him get in there and make some plays. On the other side, Serqet for Cryptik is pretty similarly for their side.
Serqet's also pretty good at preventing Thor from getting off the successful Berserker's Barrage. Even the Mjolnir's attunement could be in danger, because you want to look for the double tap, but at the same time you don't want to get Cobra's Kissed out of a possible escape. Right. So definitely some smart, I think, responses for what Space Station have so far, but the main concern that I have for Cryptik right now is just getting all of that burst damage up front. I think it's going to take some ramp up time for this Jing and Serqet to really pack the punch that they're desiring.
A little bit surprised we're seeing the Cupid ban come through, but I mean, I suppose they do have a ton of mobility that they're going to be reliant on. Maybe they wanted to make sure they didn't end up getting crippled out by that Fields of Love. It would be pretty detrimental to this exact comp. But I mean, you'd think if that's in the line of thought, Ardio would seem like a more likely pickup for this team in particular that could do a lot of the same stuff. But either way, they take it off the table and grab Soul for themselves, the mid lane ADC, who's kind of been rising up lately.
And it also takes that away from Oswaald. Have to remember, he had a pretty solid solo kill against Diesel on the Habois, but Morrigan will seem to be the answer back here right away from Space Station. And have to keep in mind, this Morrigan already has so many top-notch selection choices, keeping an eye on Thor here and Serqet, most importantly.
And even Zhong could be a pretty potent target as well. Plenty of options, I imagine, if that does end up going to Oceans for him, as Ho Yi comes through as well. Another hunter who's been a little bit more popular lately. Got those ultimate changes a while ago, but certainly benefits from them even now. And then Achilles, who went away for a little while, is now back here for the solo lane.
This looks like it's Cryptik trying to round out their early game, so they do have a little bit of map presence. That way Space Station can't just outright bully in the laning phases to trickle over into some possible buff invades.
Yeah, Serqet and Achilles both can give you some relatively decent pressure early on, whether that's in solo jungle or if they want to spread that around a little bit. On the other side, Space Station actually have a decent amount of sustain with this Sylvanus you could play around and some setup potential. That's a scary team fight, what Space Station has.
It is fairly execution heavy, though. Having this Morrigan is a little bit of a gamble.
Yes.
Ocean's relatively new to this squad, so might not be as clean cut as it looks on paper.
That is pretty big, though. You sub in for the team and you're like, yeah, go ahead and give me Morrigan. That clearly means some confidence there. If it is for Oceans, could go anywhere. We'll find out. Space Station and Cryptik happening now.
Space Station and Cryptik happening now?
Right now, Tom.
Right now.
Not later.
Oh, well, maybe later. If Space Station Gold have their way, absolutely.
It was earlier.
Best of 3.
It was also earlier where we saw the game 1.
Oh. So it happened earlier. It's happening now. And it will happen in the future.
It might happen later.
Well, I mean, I bet you we're still here in 1 minute.
I'm not taking that bet.
Well, we'll be here. As far as the supports, though, an interesting lopsided start. You see Team Cryptik doing the solo support style, and then over there, Space Station Gold going the invade style. Purple buff belongs to Space Station. Interesting that they don't lean over to the red buff. Is that because they don't want that 2v2 fight?
Yeah, they're expecting a 2v2, maybe even a 3-on-2 collapse if Diesel wants to ignore the wave and look for the collapse, because they're feigning the mid pressure. They're conceding the mid pressure to get dual pressure. They did it last game. They're doing it again this game. They want to strip away the purple buff and get Oswaald in a comfortable position.
Meanwhile, ShadowChair, I love this decision. 2 separate invades coming out from Cryptik. One on the blue buff, which forces Chapo over to help Uzzy, and Ocean's going to rotate there as well. But all the while, off screen, Serqet and the mid lane Soul were invading the enemy red buff. So a great play by Team Cryptik, but they sort of like a sleight of hand show.
Sure. And honestly, they were about to lose another member in the likes of that blue buff invade, but a great blink coming through. Diesel going to get pulled back and should be fine unless some crazy triple bounce happens. Oswaald trying to line it up a little bit, but instead just waiting for his time.
How do you go from Hebo to Jing? You're a solo laner, and so I've spoken to pro players that have this mentality where like, you're Hercules, 6 slots, 30 minutes in the game, and nothing can kill you, and the game ends, and you're in the next game, and you just get bopped because you're not expecting to have one item. I mean, as a Hebo to a Jing way, that is a big damage drop-off.
Oh, it really is. But that's his Diesel for you. That's his style. He likes to not only try to confuse either the commentators or the crowd at home, but also his opposition. You know, because just because you might be used to also your damage or your protections, the enemy might be used to a different kind of style as well. So the fact that he can mix it up and understand that the game plan from Space Station is to 2v1 Diesel.
Right.
And a Jingwei is much better at handling that 2v1 than a Hebo is.
Certainly the good look for sure. Mattypocket on the Sylvanus. Should be an interesting look here next to the Oswaald. What do you expect out of this dual lane, Tully?
In teamfights, it's a great synergy, honestly, between that Wrath of Terror versus dropping of the Suns coming out of Oswaald. A lot of space control from Space Station Gold. Cope looking for that blue buff invade. Doesn't really find it, though.
No, not able to confirm. The jump forward is big, though.
No level 5s yet, so Cope not able to find any lethal opportunities, but Uzzy needs to pick up that blue buff to be effective against the Achilles, against the aggressive Achilles at a MandoWarrior that only went for Warrior's Blessing on top of the health chalice, sitting on a little bit of gold.
And so what's the point there? Is it to rush non-Glad Shield? Is there something else coming here?
It's possible. It could be the boots, honestly. And also, if he's expecting rotations coming out of Chapo, then you kind of need a health chalice if you're going to get bullied out.
Is there a world where... Okay, no. I guess you could... No, you can't really jungle the Zhong. Let me unpack what I'm thinking about, folks. I was sitting here saying maybe MandoWarrior didn't buy any items because he was unsure if his matchup would be magical or physical. So you just forgo it, you go to lane, you have a little bit of a disadvantage, but when you come back, you have the right itemization. If there was more applicable characters here, that could be the conversation. It's not. Instead, it's a boots rush. Why not just walk to lane with boots 1?
Like beforehand? Because it's just, you're committing to boots at that point. Whereas if you don't do that, hold that thought to deal Diesel, gonna use the beads and defensive ultimate.
Okay.
So if you walk to lane at boots 1 at level 1, your opponents also know what you're doing, which is a little bit of a tell. Whereas if you leave the slot open, you get Health Chalice, you get the Warrior's Blessing, you're still have enough, obviously, to finish off the boots later on. And you also have the options of doing whatever else you want.
So you can get more potions
later on, yes.
MandoWarrior using his ult of his own to try and escape Uzzy's, but he can't. One tick of damage would have been enough to take care of MandoWarrior. That health pot will certainly help him out. MandoWarrior feeling good about that one. Oh man, Uzzy.
The dash narrowly avoided that exorcism to finish off the kill. Unlucky for Uzzy. He was able to chase down MandoWarrior despite that fatal strike.
This one looked fine until the stun. Cope showed up and will provide an ultimate of his own. Chapo falls down from first blood. 3 players are here. Uzzy could be next, but Ocean's making the flank. Nobody sees him. He's literally invisible. Triple stun is good. Uzzy heals up a little bit, and now the turnaround. Ocean's transforms. One goes down to the mid lane mage. Here's the damage onto Sibyl as well. The double kill for Ocean's. Welcome back, boy. Beautiful play. 2 kills. First Space Station Gold.
Ocean's transforming to the correct target. All that AoE damage from the Zhong at the right place with the perfect angle for the triple stun to the triple omen. Couldn't ask for anything more, honestly, out of Ocean's from that play.
Wonderful. That's what you want on that rotation. Everything kind of looked good there. What a turnaround from game number 1. With all that said, Space Station Gold still trail by the First Blood Gold and a little bit more. But those are the types of plays that you need to string together. The ones from Oceans, make multiple of those plays. Chapo on a Thor, this is a character he's very comfortable on. I want to see some nice setup coming out from Chapo. Filling in for Oceans. And there's a lot of potential here with this draft. I like it a little bit better. Chapo, I don't know.
It's not happening under that tier 1 tower. Diesel going to be able to use that airstrike, even without the use of the purification beads. But just
a little bit off.
Yeah, it's just a smidge, but you know what? He was on a team with Weekend at a time.
So you learn from the best.
So you learn, you know. You don't always have to, you know, use the methods from your old senpai, but...
Ocean's trying to deal with Cope. No invisibility means he's likely to die here, but Chapo with a beautiful wall. Saving the life of his mid laner. Without Chapo there, Oceans is dead to rights.
Absolutely.
So we love that. Chapo is made up for the misplay that he had on the left side. 3-on-3 here by the blue buff on Space Station side of the map. MandoWarrior heals up just a little bit, and Chapo says no thank you. The double tap from the hammer, good enough. Shadow of Ku respawns, so we'll likely see that go to Space Station Gold, and there'll be 1 to 3 in that direction. But one thing that I did like about that play on the left side, Chapo misses the ult quite obviously, but still a hard commit from the team. The team understood that this was the play. Chapo went and looked for the stun, and after that, that's your job as a teammate, to follow up. And if the kill gets away, the kill gets away. But you saw how close that happened. One basic attack would have changed it.
Sure. They calculated the fact that Diesel didn't have beats on that left side after the engage. So if the stun does land, I think the CC duration is long enough that they do find the kill, but it just goes to show how much burst damage is available for Space Station Gold. And also how much mobility Ocean's being able to ping pong to any lane that he really wants with that third ability, 30% movement speed at the first rank, which enabled him to get that 2 kills upon that rotation, giving him about half of a level lead over ShadowChair. In that last little exchange around the blue buff, ShadowChair was making that rotation, but just not able to get there in time playing the Soul.
Not at all. Not at all. Rough stuff there for the Soul player. Team Cryptik here, up a little bit, but it's up to Space Station Gold to find their way back into it. Again, I'm looking all at Thor. Thor's the character that sets the pace of the game, which is why Cryptik are looking at the Thor. Always in his backyard. That ultimate's going to take a little bit too long. See you later, Cope.
Yeah, Cope can chase down El Chapo, but MandoWarrior can't keep up after the fact. There's just the separation was a little bit too much. A good turnaround play. I like the idea from Cope to be aggressive there. He got the beats earlier on with the Cobra's Kiss, so obviously not having to be worried about disrupting the last breath, but without any follow-up, that was a guaranteed turnaround play. Chapo relying on his rotation of his mid-player Oceans.
10 minutes exactly on the clock. And Team Cryptik tied up here with Space Station Gold. Kills more in the favor of SSGG. Oswaald dropping Sun. Diesel again barely gets out of there. Nice try. I respected Oswaald.
Oh, man. Because that was only 2 bounces there. I think that if it was just a little bit further and that third one hits.
It was on the trajectory. He was rooting for that corner to be a little bit more out there.
We would have heard a Hindu man call.
But Space Station Gold, not a very successful team. Just calling it as I see it. Here, a little bit better. Phase 2 could bode a lot differently, though, for Space Station Gold. Obviously, Ocean's on the team of Pro League fame could definitely help this team out just a little bit. We'll see how this one goes as the team continues in phase number 2. Red team invading blue team one more time on the red buff itself. Mattypocket knocked up and down. Oswaald here getting aggressed on, but Oceans again surprises the squad and gets a kill. Up to the top comes Sibyl, and then down goes Chapo, but he's going right up to the top. ShadowChair's the target, most likely. Miss! The spin to win is good.
Good enough, even avoiding the persistent gust. Sibyl gonna get taken out by Oceans, transforming into Chapo. He needed the extra mobility to cut the distance. 2 free kills from Space Station Gold as they defended their own red buff, trying to get this Gold Fury, but Diesel right around the corner.
Diesel, he's gonna come through. 10% too slow. There's the knockup, hits all of them. Space Station Gold confirmed the objective, but the triple kill is on the mind. There's the Suns, and it forces the ultimate out. Invisibility is good for Oceans. Diesel could definitely explosive bolts these players down.
Oh, the pull from Mattypocket just narrowly off the mark. You can see that all these players are thinking offensively, but one little misstep, anyone can die at a given moment. Uzzy forced to try to run away. Does pick up his own blue buff, so he's not too worried about that one, but Space Station almost had that one stripped away. Diesel came in there with that persistent gust, knocked up 2, maybe even 3 of them. Was maybe like a quarter second too early.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. A full reset. Gold Fury ties up game. Wow. Unhealthy person.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
That is
should be a reminder to get your physical every year.
Roller coaster ride for sure. Oswaald and Mattypocket looking here on the left-hand side. Diesel has gotten out of all of these situations. He's been ganked how many times?
Too many to count on both hands, honestly.
It's like Space Station think he's still playing Hemo.
That's the thing, and that's why he probably swapped to the Jing way, because he knows the playstyle from Space Stations to 2v1, this dual lane, even rotate Chapo over from time to time. So Jing way very safe at doing it. At this point in the game, previous one, he was at 1-3. Now he's just casually sitting at 1-0, no care in the world.
Chapo goes up, looking for Achilles. Chapo comes down, landing on Achilles. There's the perfect combo. And the Warrior runs right into a mid laner.
Perfect. Perfect play from Oceans to cover that option. There was a slight sliver of hope for MandoWarrior to survive, and Oceans shutting that one out.
The pathing was perfect. That's exactly what you want to do. Great play there. Space Station Gold, again, those are the plays you need to string together. You don't need these giant team fights. Pick up a kill there, push a tower, pick up a kill someplace else, defend a red buff, give a totem a coup. This is what this first 15 minutes are about, just these tiny little wins, tiny little victories, and then you can transition. All of a sudden, after a bunch of these plays, you find yourself up almost 1,000 gold. You make a couple more, you're at 1,500, maybe 2,000. You go for you go for a pyromancer like this. ShadowChair and Sibyl are here, but you have the 4-on-2 advantage. You can absolutely take this fight. ShadowChair blown up, and there's the ultimate. Enough to kill, enough to get Sibyl here. Push out the ultimate of his own. Knock up down MandoWarrior. Charge. Copebby goes for the ultimate, can't find it. It's just the decoy, and Uzzy makes mincemeat out of Cope.
MandoWarrior trying to run away. I believe he's in that armor stance.
That
he's
was
trying to make something happen now. Not dealing too much, actually a little bit of damage onto Oceans. Trying to turn it around. He was thinking about escaping. But without any follow-up, it's just a retreat from Oceans. At the end of the day, finding the one kill from Cope was good enough to maybe look for a play from Pyromancer, but Oceans a little bit too low afterwards.
Did you see that though? Cope used the Serqet ult on Oceans' decoy. And luckily it doesn't use the ult, I guess, because as soon as the Morrigan decoy gets hit by CC, it dies.
Sure.
Just like the Son of Khan. Very interesting. Very interesting interaction.
Yeah, you can miss that ultimate very easily as Serqet, honestly. If you're in the middle of a wave about to get ganked by Serqet, just hug your melee minions, hug your archers, and hope and pray that your opponent misses.
It even happens on land. Sometimes you ult the minion.
Yep.
Shout outs to everybody's favorite console support player.
You can use that as an idea, though. Like Serqet ultimate into the Kumbha jump.
I was going to say, so if you plan it out to really be some like solid snake type guy, it can be fun. I mean, one of my favorite combos, one of my oldest favorite combos, is the Heart Bomb belly bump.
Oh yeah, Heart Bomb. What about Heart Bomb and Serqet ultimate
on one target? That'd be
a lot of damage.
I mean, that'd be insane to set up.
It's doable.
Sure.
You can practice it.
I'm gonna say no. I don't think you can practice to do that on a regular basis. You're going to get a Serqet jungle and a Cupid Kumbhakarna dual lane and practice that combo to the point where it becomes your strategy.
Like a one-off, yeah?
All right, I believe you. Chapo, however. Help there. Oh, the shove! Copebby messes up MandoWarrior, and that's going to be a whole different story if Mando gets the kill. Oh, no. These up. Dashes to the right. Oceans is making the ghost come out. Oceans gets the double kill after Uzzy does. Oswaald kills Sibyl, and Uzzy's still going to try and waddle out of here. MandoWarrior says no. Double tap misses. The wall is very bad. And the kill is going to be stunned out.
Chapo's dead. He has to use the Aegis.
Knock up. Chapo's fine. But this MandoWarrior...
He's trying to run away from the archers. He's one archer hit away, finally landing down. Oswaald gets the hit. Chapo calculated that out to a T. He had to use the Aegis to survive the tier 1 tower shots after looking for that chase down, almost dying to the archers. But at the end of the day, Space Station Gold get a deicide, they get the tier 1 tower, and they're crawling their way back into this game.
Man, we were talking about Serqet ulting the decoy, Serqet ulting the minion. What about when you do land the Serqet ultimate, but you shove the target out of the way of the execute? Chapo's sitting there, Chapo gets picked off. Make no bones about it. As Sybyl's steal attempt is denied. Space Station Gold are supposed to lose that fight. Chapo is out of position, gets ganked, and MandoWarrior goes to the ultimate, but it misses because Copebby shoves Chapo out of the way. So instead, somebody comes, kills Cope. Chapo runs away and is a part of what kills Sibyl up top. Diesel up top is a part of that kill, and that turns into everything that takes away the tower and the Primal Fury. If Chapo gets executed by MandoWarrior, not only does none of that happen, Anatoly, we might even see Team Cryptik wind up taking the objective.
Very possible. And at the end of the day, it all comes down to how you prepare these instances where you practice your communication to a T where the safe call is to throw your opponent that you are ulting into the line of fire directly to whoever your ally is. MandoWarrior should be okay here. But then the second safest option is just to chuck somebody against the wall because you want to get that basic attack in.
And realistically, Team Cryptik makes the rotation and looks at Uzzy here. The entire team shows up. As he goes down, Oswaald in trouble. As a dot, he's able to walk away here. Good job. Providing some other nonsense. There's the damage on the ShadowChair as Chapo gets excited about it. Beads are good for the moment, and he will wiggle out with about 200 HP. Shen turns around, finds a stun onto MandoWarrior. Now again, over-aggressive is the nature of Team Cryptik. We'll walk away.
Everyone is just smacking each other with like pillowcases filled with bricks at this point. ShadowChair gonna eat a whole bunch of damage, returning to Oceans now onto the Zhong Queen, but he gets stunned out.
There's the ultimate coming out from the carry, and down goes Oceans. The 4-on-2 push here on the right lane. It's gonna be big as Mattypocket gets isolated. The team looking at the tower. Down it goes, money in the bank.
Chapo was a little bit zoned away there, getting zoned by Cope the whole entire time. Wants to find the angle for the ultimate. Good juke to prevent that pull from Matty. Nice opportunity there as the ult going to be actually fine after the agility, avoiding the slow and the stun.
Uzzy's here with the ultimate intact, and actually was avoided until MandoWarrior walked into it. He doesn't seem to mind. Chapo up, looking for a stun. Hits nobody! In between three! It's the Bermuda Triangle! And Chapo disappears!
MandoWarrior not going to disappear that time around. Oswaald dive bombing into safety. Chapo was at 25% health, getting poked out by Copebby in a 2v1 favoring Space Station on that jungle side, and he still has the courage to just go in anyway, thinking he'll hit somebody just for damage, just for the CC, and allow his teammates to follow up with a disengage. He saw the bigger picture, but he just couldn't paint it.
Unfortunate. You know, we look at some of the mistakes that Team Cryptik have been making, and you know, I pointed out that Serqet shove away from MandoWarrior, and that's a weird happenstance thing. These are minor league teams, and what happens is that you just get from hours in the gym, from playing with specific players, you know what I mean? If you play, you played with a team for a long time, you get to understand player tendencies. You play with Cope for years, you're gonna know which way he prefers to shove the player, if he is a wall guy or a line of sight guy, etc., like you were breaking down. So that's not me, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, Cope shouldn't have done that, That's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes in the heat of the fight. I am saying Chapo needs to hit that ultimate.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
His mindset is there where...
Right decision making.
Yeah, he's understanding what needs to be done to get his team an advantage for the follow-up. He's just lacking the execution right now. It's just not his day.
MandoWarrior has it available. Get somebody low enough. Go baby zigzag. Ocean's down on the safe. Comes Thor, the sky. I'd like him to peel. He's gonna go. He lands aggressively on the right side, looking for ShadowChair. MandoWarrior uses the ultimate to get out. Space Station Gold, so damn healthy. Sibyl, on the other hand, anything but. The basics will take down the support. Diesel turns one around. It's a 1-for-1. Sibyl and Uzzy in the ground. Oswaald, credit.
Good slow coming through out of ShadowChair to prevent the chase, but Space Station Gaming are not going to give this one up. Diesel getting a lot of pot shots onto Mattypocket, but the call is now onto MandoWarrior. He's about to get stunned if he's not careful.
There's a big stun. He'll get stunned in return, so 1-for-1. MandoWarrior down for 45 seconds, though. Is that a Thor? No, it's not a Thor. But I heard it. Space Station Gold. Tied.
The sustain coming through from Mattypocket is coming up huge to be able to continue these small skirmishes where a fight should be dead to the ground, but Space Station are keeping it up and alive. To the left-hand side, though, Cope looking for an angle to prevent this Pyromancer.
Oh, Diesel did the turnaround. Chapo goes up, hits him with the full combo, and Diesel one-shots him, man.
This is getting a little bit out of control. Like, the fail knot coming through from Diesel is helping out a lot. That 25% crit base without the use of the ultimate is good enough in conjunction with the explosive bolts. You add the airstrike to the mix at target. Not only are you dealing 15% extra critical strike damage, but so are all your teammates. And honestly, somebody needs to, like, tug on the leash of Chapo because he's going a little too ham.
Yeah, that's always been kind of Chapo's claim to fame, is the over-aggressive nature. And as we said before, the aggressive nature kind of isn't the problem, it's the execution. I'm fine with him repeatedly going in, repeatedly finding these dunk downs. And in fact, I think that Chapo, contrary to what happened earlier, this fight in the lower right jungle was actually brought to you by good Thor dunks. He dunks on the right side while his team's handling the fight down south, and he hits the player on the right side to set up that kill. I like that mentality. I like when he's aggressive. Just got to hit the stuff. 3, 4, and 6. Doing the job. Look at the build. Cooldown first and foremost with some damage. Shifter shield, one of my favorite items in the game right now. Gotta love it.
The problem was when he took that one-on-one fight, he didn't have Shifter Shield completed at the time. And that's a big power spike play that you have to calculate before making such an aggressive maneuvering against a Hunter that does have a fail knot, that does have the Executioner.
That's fair.
Diesel didn't even have to use the airstrike to find the kill there.
Very fair. Oceans, what happened there?
I think it was a decoy, actually. Oceans uses the confusion ability, and the epic uppercut clips the decoys.
That was... I saw that. I immediately looked down to see beads or Aegis. Beads are not, or beads or Magi. Beads not. That was fun. That's the second time he's used that decoy rather well.
That's right. Because
not just.
You hear it connecting, right?
Yeah.
Like the epic uppercut made that connecting sound because there's a distinct difference of when it misses and when it connects. Boing. Yes, the little.
You play too much Smite, man.
That battle sounds. Why Finch is coming back soon.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. That stuff is always good to watch. Uzzy getting knocked up. Oh my goodness, the damage is incredible. There's some help though, don't forget. Double prots when the ultimate comes out. Same for Oceans though, as he's walking around, ghosting people. Nice knockout from Mattypocket. What a beautiful ultimate from the support. Oceans trying to heal, but he's just gonna get dealed. Copebby on the top of that one. So 1-for-1, Oceans for Diesel. Hot exchange there. Chapo looking for Sibyl. Actually, I can just find it. Gets chased away by ShadowChair. 2-on-2 in the blue buff. Chapo rejoining. Walking away from Shadow. There's a double tap, the spin. We'll see you later.
No beads or Aegis even used. ShadowChair having both of those available did not respect the Thor damage whatsoever. He anticipated that he'd be able to survive long enough to use the Disaparate and go into the invulnerable ball just to get away, but not today.
Yeah, the double tap damage, and I don't know. I think you wind up wasting your beads and Aegis there. If you beads and get away from the double tap, absolutely. You use the Aegis and run away. I think what happened was he gets hit by the double tap and just goes, okay.
Well,
I'd much rather you not, you know?
I see that argument. I'm going to raise you a counter one where you can beads, use Disapparate. Aegis will buy you enough time to get into your invulnerable form. And then as long as your teammates are there to bail you out, you should be fine.
That's fair. That's fair. Way too many times have we seen the old...
Sadman Aegis?
I didn't want to say it because you're his boy, but the Sadman.
The Sadman Aegis.
You want to talk about throwbacks? You know, we're just coming back to it. Players and commentators, you know, just had a breakaway with the All-Star break and the mid-season invitational, etc. So your mind kind of, not rusty, but rusty, right? I called it Sanctuary twice in play-by-play earlier. I was like, gonna get hit by the ultimate, but avoids it with the Sanctuary? What is that? Shoutouts to those that remember Aegis being renamed for like 3 weeks. MandoWarrior here. Why is he here? Surrounded by players, walled off, half HP. The ultimate will get him out of harm's way for the moment. Copebby and Sibyl will join, and Team Cryptik forced into this fight by their solo laner. Will they win it is a different story. The suns come down thanks to Oswaald. Oceans will put MandoWarrior in the ground. Sibyl, passive, good. God.
Again, Space Station on the aggressive and thriving this time around, ShadowChair.
I don't even know if I say that's on the aggressive, totally. That was just, MandoWarrior, what are you doing?
Yeah, he was a little bit too far out there for sure. ShadowChair will ultimately fall to the likes of Choppa with 4 clean kills, and MandoWarrior did bait himself out well. Sibyl managing to blink in. He hit all 5 Space Station members with that mez. Very rare opportunity for a Kumba support, but it still wasn't enough to turn around the rest of the fight. Uzzy's damage on the Zhong Queen now, a little bit too much. He's so hard to lock down as well with his build.
Uzzy is top of the player damage. I am looking at Oceans and Uzzy. Oceans and Uzzy combined because they are 2 Zhong Quis, and totally that's what's winning this game.
Yeah.
2 Zhong Quis every team fight, just bonk, bonk, over and over, bonk, bonk, over and over again. It's insane. What do? You run away from one Zhong Kui to run into the other one. No, thank you. If I'm Team Cryptik, I'm F6ing and banning the Zhong Kui right now.
Looking for the right side. Phoenix fighting outside of that range. Cope looking for a target, forced to disengage. MandoWarrior though needing to disengage, but he's running away from his teammates yet again.
The rest of the squad is coalesced here around the front door, and Team Cryptik, as much as I just lamented the double Kui, they just dealt with it very, very well. That's exactly what Space Station wanted to do. Knock on the door, pop both ultimates, and create this area of you shan't go here. But unfortunately for Space Station Gold, things didn't go their way. Instead, we're gonna play some solid Snake right here.
There's a ward though, right next to where they are. They don't get spotted. They're not spotted, but if they did walk through there, they would have been. And now it's Cryptik gonna set up an own trap of themselves around this Gold Fury.
Oh man, this is... Can you imagine if Cryptik stayed here at Red Buff and Space Station stayed there at the top right and we just waited? Like, okay.
I don't think we've ever seen that.
Oh, well, here it is. Oswaald is going to look for the red buff. That Serqet's invisible. Don't forget. Nobody can see that Serqet. Crits are big. Oh, Serqet! The whole team is here! Oswaald is screaming! And he's
out. There's no way he's out. Tom, he is out and about, trying to run away. He's back in the fight, but Cope has other intentions.
Up top, Diesel's going to be chased out. You can see Cope taking care of Oswaald, so carries are gone. Trouble is Uzzy's trying to control MandoWarrior. The zigzag from Cope gets him out of trouble as well. 2-on-2, beautiful wall coming out from Chapo, and MandoWarrior finds himself in trouble after the ultimate from the support. Dash out, that's good, but Chapo follows up. One more wall. Here's follow-up damage as well. This needs to be finished, and it will be. Oceans gets the last hit. For the start on the Sibyl, there's damage after the fact. Walls takes away the right side, so forced to go to the left will be Sibyl. Tier 2 tower should be the target.
Everyone is surviving with literally next to 0 health. I like how Diesel goes back into the team fight to pick up the red buff, but he backs at the red buff instead of assisting and looking for a great flank opportunity. Any character that flanks in SMITE has a huge advantage, especially one that has a displacement such as a knockup. A good time persistent gust onto Oceans.
Yeah.
He's dead before he lands from 2 crits.
Especially at this stage of the game, the Felnon and the Deathbringer got an absurd crit chance on the fact, plus the fact that it's extra crit damage because of your DB. Yeah, I'm with you there, totally.
Yeah, it's like 45% crit without explosive bolts. You add that to the mix, all of a sudden it's like about 65 to 70% total.
Well, not bad. Not bad at all. Space Station Gold, the lead of the afternoon. Able to take a whole lot of stuff there. Wind up 68 gold, 6,900 gold above the opposition.
But I'm not convinced that it's really enough to like cement their victory yet. For some reason, there's just something still missing about how the team fights have been panning out. It's been too back and forth where, yes, they're up 13 kills, sure, but it hasn't been convincing in getting the objectives and the towers. They've been giving up too much in return.
I agree there. I definitely agree there. Rare is the occasion that the kills will actually tell you. The kills tell you the story of the game, but not necessarily the factual information. That's really the golden experience for me. Pyromancer goes to Space Station Gold one more time. The Fire Giant will be up in about 22 seconds. Cryptik here and ready. Looking in, here's the jungler, grabbing 2 players with the taunt. Oswaald jumps away, Cope in trouble, and Uzzy here, party. Cope forced out up top, Oswaald half HP, and Sibyl not sure which way to go as the enemy is on his back line. Chapo's trying to deal with it, and Diesel will be chased out. Altogether a sloppy team fight, but there's secondary Thor. It's Oceans landing on Sibyl, getting the perfect stun, getting the crits, everybody partying. And Uzzy, 3-3-11 for the solo out of Colorado. Beautiful play there. And Space Station Gold winds up with kill number 24, Kobe, as the Fire Giant goes down.
Beautiful play from Oceans. At first, I thought he missed his initial target of ShadowChair that was either out of range or not the intended target, but actually getting the better end of the trade onto Sibyl. A great target onto the Kumbhakarna, and with that, enhanced Fire Giant. Now I'm a little more convinced, Tom, that Space Station should be able to close this one out.
Exactly. This is a we are supposed to go to a game 3. Team Cryptik right now need to get this stop and then some in order to end it, whereas Space Station Gold, if they kill 2 players, I think they walk into the throne room and take care of business. Chapo from the right side. And Phoenix already down. Chapo has no target. Will land right where he started. Team here, on the right side, easily taking down the Phoenix. Here comes Uzzy, busting out the Ghost. Trouble for Oceans, though, as Mando takes him down. The Double Queen not available since he used Changeling earlier to put his team in this position. He's surrounded. Team Cryptik likely to take care of him. Space Station Gold, again, saved by a good wall.
Oh no, Space Station, they lose 2 members. Matty's gonna get just CC to high heaven between the Root and the Mez. Chapo gonna try to do something, but it's not enough to save the good old tree that gets chopped down inevitably and burned by ShadowChair.
So Team Cryptik here, Anatoly, this is a fantastic defensive set. This is exactly what they needed to do. Do they? Towers, Gold Fury's down. What do you do here?
Middle Phoenix is all you can really get. I don't think they can go for the end. If they do, it's a big desperation play. Oceans will be available for the Titan Siege. I don't think he'll be up for the Phoenix Siege, but instead they're going to just defend all the fire minions. They don't want their Titan exposed to take unnecessary damage. Have Copebby sit in the right side. Give him some more gold to try to sell those boots, pick up the Swiftness Potion, and move on.
Here too, crumbled. That'll keep that 10,000 gold lead in check. Sibyl still needs some new items. ShadowChair needs a pair of rollerblades. See how that one works out. We're over that half-hour mark, folks. 37 minutes. Chapo and Oswaald still have the EFG for a minute or two. And I do mention that because the fact that the carry has it is of importance. Space Station Gold are exactly on the foot that they're making the aggressive moves. But if in the next minute SSGG do get a chance to look at the tower and the Phoenix, Oswaald is going to chew through it. So That's the goal here for SSGG. Cryptik, however, has already crushed their dreams once.
That's true. Space Station, though, they need to position themselves to use that Fire Giant buff within the next minute and 10 seconds. They'll definitely get that tier 2 tower. I don't know how likely they can stretch that beyond the tower to maybe get the Phoenix, because if they fail again in terms of escaping, now without the Fire Giant, those Phoenixes in the middle and the right side would have respawned, and all attention from Cryptik would be towards the Titan from Space Station. This is do or die.
Right now, it's exactly what it feels like. Chapo by himself in the mid lane, trying to deal with some of the fire creeps. Cope with a nice flank, but he's on the ward. Everybody knows he's there. It's a Space Station gaming ward. That's why you see Space Station staying away from this area.
No, they're both. Those both. I was about to say, like, one of them was definitely a Cryptik ward. I wasn't sure if the other one was or wasn't, so...
I definitely made the assumption.
They weren't kind of looking at the jungle. If they did know, I think that Chapo would have... Yeah, Chapo would have flanked them and looked for at least a Mad Guy's Cloak pop with the Thor wall stun.
Nah, it's up to Chapo to deal with these fire minions. That's such a big deal. Split pushing here is usually trouble, but now he's got his own fire minions that is even more trouble for Team Cryptik. The Titan, by the way, is dealing with those fire minions down to 60% HP, and SSGG haven't even looked at the Mamma Jamma. Here comes Sibyl being pulled in by Mattypocket. Left Bird in trouble. Meanwhile, Titan half HP. It's Diesel's job to defend that. Up goes to the sky thanks to Sibyl, and down comes Oswaald. Aegis is strong. Still half HP on the Titan. On the backside, Ocean's going to deal with Cope, so down goes the jungler. MandoWarrior's in charge. Space Station gold are low. Ocean's is in trouble. Trouble for ShadowChair even more so. Sibyl very, very, very nearly dead.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Diesel needs
There's
more.
The jump forward. ShadowChair needs to avoid. The minions are done, though. They have gotten the right side Phoenix back up. Less of a threat for Team Cryptik. It's just 2 players. Chapo doesn't even count. He's got 1 HP. It's just Oswaald for me.
Chapo is there for the wall.
What is this?
Stunned if he wants it. He
this?
baited out the Phoenix. Oswaald will die for his troubles, but he got the left side
Fire
Phoenix.
minions. Fire minions walking in.
No
Fire minions
way.
walking in. Fire minions walking
No
in. There's 2 ways of firing. Anatoly.
The minions?
Anatoly.
They're not going to get it this time, Tom, but it was a close one for sure. At a fraction of a health bar, that Titan lives to fight another day.
Oh my goodness, totally.
I appreciate the enthusiasm.
No, totally. We have a lot of fun up here.
I
We have a lot of fun up here, man. I legitimately thought that the Titan was going to lose.
So was I 2 worlds ago. Or was it 3 worlds ago? I think it was 2 worlds ago.
Oh, man, no. Oh, man, no. I really thought it was going to... You can't even see the HP
No, you can't.
there.
Not at all. You can sneeze at that Titan. It's going to go down.
So this is where Chapo just ults the Titan.
And pulls a Dignitas.
Just ult the Titan. Scrum in the mid lane, and this is important. Cryptik can't fight on the Phoenix as players with a strong pass. Cryptik have to fight out of their base. Oceans with the invisibility looking for the play. There it is.
Thor.
Oceans is walking backwards. There's Chapo. Oceans has made it to the right-hand side. Transforms. There's the Thor. The hammer goes forward. The ultimate's good. Uzzy gets a kill off screen. The Titan landed on by the Thor. That's game. We're going to game 3.
Space Station Gold having to pull out all the cards to keep themselves alive in this best of 3 set.
All the cards.
I love it.
Because of 2 John Queens, right?
Yes. And all the hammers with 2 Thors.
That was a fun game. Like we said, the minions almost did it.
Almost.
I did go.
They set it up to allow Oceans to knock it down.
That's really the key there. Wonderful play. And again, it's fun. It's fun to kind of talk about those minions, but realistically, that was crafted by Space Station Gold.
Yes.
They go ahead and they take care of the mid Phoenix and the right Phoenix and cause the fight on the left side. 60% of the job is already done.
They delayed it long enough to position those minions properly. They were kind of dancing back and forth at the left side, Phoenix, asking what Cryptik wanted to do, how they were going to respond to that pressure, and ultimately crumbled. They couldn't handle all 3 fronts at once.
Well, now we're tied up. Game 3 after this.
Skillshot, the official production partner of the SMITE Minor League.
Welcome back to the SMITE Minor League. My name is Finch. I'm joined by Taco, and we just saw a pretty exciting ending there, actually, in our last game. Space Station Gold just barely closed that one out. Really off a big game from Oceans all around, but also a pretty cool in push as well.
A super back and forth match, though, throughout a lot of those team fighting engagements. It was always one side being left with just not enough to completely push out, but ultimately Space Station Gold. And I think Ocean should honestly be credited for the MVP of Game 2 here, Finch, because these transformations on that Morrigan were just so impactful every single time.
Well, aside from winning the game, he was also 10-4-12, right? I mean, he really did have a strong performance throughout the game, kind of helped them initially get out in front too, and then kind of was the hydration pack for my Parks and Recs fans out there that kept them going throughout the middle of the game too. So a big performance by him, just subbing in, I guess. So hopefully they can make that work for him as they move into game number 3.
And it should be a really interesting matchup because I think the duo lane has actually been popping off as of late. Oswaald, 2 games in a row now, has just been wrecking havoc in that duo lane. And it's been helping out Mattypocket a lot, I believe, because Matty just seems as though he's focusing a little bit more so on the peel for his carries and just letting Chapo and Oceans kind of take the mantle for everywhere else.
And I did just be told that we're not going to have Diesel in this game for Cryptik. It's going to be Bondo that was in. I think you're even telling me about this, that this is one of the subs that can play for them sometime. So we'll see if he's able to come in. Diesel's a lot for Team Cryptik. He's got some big shoes to fill, as the picks and bans look fairly standard. Scotty, Isis, Kronos, and King Arthur. We want to see an Erlang Shen ban, I imagine, but the Morrigan ban makes a ton of sense.
And considering that Cryptik are in that first pick position, they might even be hoping to take that Erlang themselves. Space Station Gold, a little bit more concerned about that Zhong making its way through again. And considering how Game 1 went, I honestly can't blame Space Station for not wanting to deal with that one.
No, not at all. Uzzy and Oceans together, I think, were really the dynamic duo that, especially in the early game, that was giving a lot of trouble to Cryptik, the Zhong and the Morrigan themselves. So they take away the Morrigan by banning it, then Space Station actually banned the Zhong. So Cryptik might have a slightly easier time, though even still, Erlang Shen's up for grabs. Space Station likely grab it here.
This is a bit of a flavor switch up, though, for Space Station. They're not normally ones to take the Hunter first and foremost, but they've been really prioritizing a lot of Oswald's matchups. I think just trying to get him a pickup that he feels most comfortable on, and Hachiman against the Muzen Cop. If that is an AMC in the duo lane, Hachiman's going to be able to have that extended poke pressure through the Heavenly Banner, even the Eagle Eye shots, and that mounted archery is what I'm really keen on because there's no escape for that for an Muzen.
No, that gives a ton of extra damage and a slow that makes life pretty hard on him. As they go ahead and grab the Geb, I imagine that's from Mattypocket. He's showing us a little bit beyond what we saw here in Phase 1, but they are still prioritizing his picks early, and that means that things like the Erlang Shen do end up falling through the cracks and going the other direction. That's going to be picked up for Cryptik along with Terra.
That is a nasty Odin pickup, though, for Space Station.
So
I have
Uzzy,
to imagine
right?
that's got to be Uzzy
Yeah.
to a T. I mean, it has his name written all over it, even without being there, so to say. But Odin is a perfect counterplay option, I think. Muzen, Erlang, Terra, all three of those gods already don't have a reliable method of escape here, so a Phantom is going to be an inevitable pickup, or at least I would have to imagine so for Cryptik, unless they want to get stuck inside that cage, because Cataclysm already provides excellent follow-up setup there inside of the Odin cage, and Hachiman as well can spray the entire ring.
I do like this Zeus ban. Obviously, into the Odin, you're worried that's the combo from them, right? Drop the cage, and then you're stuck inside that Zeus ultimate. And it's something that Oceans does like to play, so I'm actually a pretty big fan of taking this one away.
It could get worse, though, for Cryptik.
You think so?
I don't want to give it all away.
It is Cupid. They've been banning it, so clearly they value it. Yeah.
This double hunter composition, I'm expecting this Cupid to be in mid for Oceans, and Oceans having been a former hunter player originally, I think that it gives a lot of flex opportunities for Space Station Gold, and it is a little concerning in the sense that Space Station are pretty fizz heavy as far as their damage is concerned.
Yeah, they need a magical
but
jungler. Yeah.
They can definitely still align with a lot of their AoE and space control.
I think they're not going to be worried about that part of missing the mage, because Cupid's ult's big. Hachiman covers some space too, and they can maybe even get Odibos to cover it. But I'm thinking something like an Ao Kwang. I mean, they're going to need something to give them. Yeah, that makes some sense. Ares in the jungle. I mean, the changes to Searing Flesh now, I mean, it is certainly a good clear ability in the jungle. This could absolutely work.
It's definitely a possibility here, and Chapo probably really excited to take this Ares. I believe this is our first Ares jungle debut since
we've
the
seen
buff.
it played in console. I think we have seen this one before
true,
already.
yes.
But yes, you're right. This is certainly going to be strong for him. Let's see how it works. Cryptik with a pretty good draft of their own. It's up to Tom and Tolly to bring us the call.
We'll bring you the call, but the players are going to bring you the action, and it will be Chapo in the jungle with the Ares.
Wow.
We'll see whether or not he'll be the clue to the game here, Tolly. That was a fumble.
I thought for a moment it might be like Odin jungle, Geb solo, Ares support to make sense. But nope. I mean, if you're going to be aggressive, why not Ares?
Searing Flesh, as you heard, the flames now do % damage to minions.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's really the big deal. Is that's what allows this to pretty much happen. Is this will come off cooldown, and well, those minions will DIE, and that is very nice there. As Chapo makes the rotation here to the solo side. Level 1 still, so doesn't have the chains available, which would be a kill here, in all honesty.
It
with
might
the
be
Ares damage.
2 off of the archers. No, okay, not going to be 2 quite yet. Off of like maybe the 2 small blue minions, the blue ogres, he'll hit level 2. So Sibyl could be in a lot of trouble.
Could be.
If he gets caught out there, but respecting that threat.
Uh-oh. The level 2 dash. Very important for Oceans to grab that one up. No big deal. Heart bomb gonna miss. So the Cupid. An interesting choice. Largely, you know, if you ask players what the worst character of the game is, Cupid comes up often.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he has some hard to confirm damage. It's all front loaded on that heart bomb.
I think Shaywaz has some words with all the Cupid haters out there.
Well, that's going to be big, but still not enough to chase down the Cope. But whether or not he's the worst character in the game, sure, we can have a lot of Reddit conversations about that. But definitely not the best character. So, interestingly enough, Oceans goes for the Cupid against a team with really not all that much. When I see Cupid, I think Cripplefield.
Yes.
And there's really not much, you know, I guess Cope. But
and Sibyl on the Terra, preventing the monolith crash through.
That's huge.
That's a big deal.
That's
You're
really big,
interrupting the triple damage source between not only the monolith and the dash, but also the stunning wall dash through if you're timing that.
So, with knowing that Chapo has access to Cripple in the jungle, Oceans on the Cupid, are you for this, against this, neutral?
I'm fine. I'm neutral about it. It's a self-peel. When Cope is going to engage, you're going to be able to just drop the Fields of Love on yourself. You know that you won't have to worry about the knockup or the Ming form, but you will have to worry about this Ares jungle.
Yeah, the blink, the chains, the flames. MandoWarrior feels the pain. Chapo making it rain. First blood to the young man on the jungle Ares.
This is why you have to be so mindful about the jungler's presence every single moment. And the 250 mark is after when the first speed buff respawns, so that should have been in the back of MandoWarrior's mind.
Uh-oh. Jutsu's good. There's the arcane stance. Banjo trying to get on out of here. Sibyl will show up. There's the root. Not going to be available as Oswaald finds his way out, links the beads, but now it's a 2-on-1. Oswaald up a creek, no paddle, 1 kill for Team Cryptik.
So aggressive. Now, he doesn't have the same intel that we do, obviously. Seeing Cope and seeing Sibyl make that rotation, he had red in his eyes that whole entire time. After Oswaald missed about 3, maybe even 4 basic attacks, Banjo bought enough time to flicker away on his own accord, and then he had teammates just to clean up the over-aggressive Oswaald.
It's a 2-on-2, quickly going to turn into a 3-on-3. ShadowChair provided the damage. Chapo's 5, grabs 1. Sibyl, gone again. Chapo on the jungle Ares with the kill.
It's a good look.
It is a great look. Because, you know, it's interesting. Guardian jungle has been, you know, we've seen the likes of the, I think I immediately go back to Athena was probably one of the first. Athena and Ymir were our first 2 real Guardian jungles that we saw. I will never respect Kev jungle, but the other choices are certainly worth talking about. You look at Cabrakan.
Sure.
And Ares fits that bill of specifically the Ymir and the Cabrakan, where the damage in the early game is absurd. The base damage is just that good. And for the first 8-9 levels, you're just killing people off of what the numbers on your kit say. After that, it's likely that we're going to see Chapo transition into more of a traditional kind of Guardian role where he's a little bit tankier. But these early moments is all about that damage, baby.
And you're abusing targets that don't have purification needs. Sibyl playing the Terra. Some players that deal with Ares will opt for beats despite being a support. I know that Trixtank does that from time to time. He wants to go and make sure that he doesn't give his opponents any opportunity to take advantage of himself. But by doing so, you're conceding a team fighting relic.
And a warrior caged up. Keep in mind, Nike can totally jump. There we saw some of the interaction as Banjo goes down to the hand of Oswaald. That interaction of that shield. So it blocks basic attacks, and it ranged basic attacks specifically. And Sibyl gets chained up. Can't dash. Cripple is good.
He might be dead.
There's the ultimate. Yep, there's a pull. And there's the slam. Nice job from Mattypocket, and that's that. That's a little scary.
Adding a little bit more fuel to the fire. That extra cataclysm just for good measure. Not sure if it was warranted, but hey, better safe than sorry. Gotta stick it to them any way you can, including the mental games.
Gotta go for it. 4 kills to 1. The Space Station Gold have the best 2 games in a row. This is the best game into next game that Space Station Gold has had likely since the beginning of the season. Their first phase was not very promising. And again, I only bring it up for comparison's sake because also just the eye test. I don't care about the stats or whatnot. Phase 2 is still a part of Phase 1. I think that is important to remember. But perhaps more importantly, looking at what's going on here, this is a better team.
Yeah. Even without Mask, like they're still playing, I think, at a very high level. They're able to coordinate together. The last game, to be able to bounce back mentally after losing that first game is not an easy task. But Space Station up for the challenge has proved it that they could do so. MandoWarrior taking a whole bunch of damage unnecessarily. He does have the jump available, but as does Uzzy if he wants to use it.
Yeah, there's the disarm factor. A whole bunch of new things for Nike. Jump is faster. Basically, if you haven't seen new Nike, the old 2 is now always on, and now she's got a shield for the 2. It's pretty fun, actually. I implore you to play it in your games where she's not there. Mattypocket knocked up, and Oceans drops the ultimate for some protection. Chapo in trouble, pulled in by the Merlin, dodges the one, but can't dodge the other. ShadowChair takes down the jungle Ares, 3-1-0. Mr. Chapo falls down for the first time this contest. Space Station Gold still have control of the kill lead, but the gold all even up.
Interesting rotation coming through from Uzzy, just not in position as the rest of Cryptik were already disengaging on the left-hand side. They didn't even have the intel of this Odin making that rotation. They just wanted to grab their own red buff. Unfortunate timing after a good rotation, I would say, from Uzzy, but this time around, when it's not Chapo and Mattypocket the ones engaging, it's hard for them to retaliate back as 2 double Guardians, especially coming from that jungle position.
Definitely can be. Copebby in some trouble as Oswaald slows him down. Knockup should be strong. One more shot. Who can't? Could have been bad, Oswaald. Sibyl here, trying to dance around. ShadowChair is in the wings, and that's going to be Sybyl's kind of saving grace. Here comes the damage from the Muzen Cop. Nobody cares. Big pull coming out from Ares. And, you know, we were talking to the broadcast on console yesterday, and I said, you know, how real is the jungle Ares? Because the solo Ares had definitely stepped up. And aggro was like, well, it's absolutely real as far as the rank game is concerned, and I agree.
Anything is real in the rank game.
Exactly. Sure.
Take that with a grain of salt.
Exactly. But, you know, here watching this, and again, understanding that this is minor league and not major league at the same time. I mean, what Chapo's doing here is absolutely, it's not really a cheeky cheese strat, if you will. He's just jungling.
Yeah, he's not proven that Ares doesn't do damage. Like, we've all known that he does damage, right?
Just can you clear and rotate and do the thing?
The only difference is, can you do it from a different role as opposed to the support? Because out of the jungle, you'll have more levels. So you'll have access to slightly more damage than you would as a support Ares at the same time of the game. So this 9-minute mark, the support could be potentially level 6 or 7 as opposed to the level 8 or 9 between these 2 junglers.
I'm eager to check out the itemization as well, because don't forget, Ares has an interesting passive where he gets power for aura items. And so right off the bat, the first item is an aura item. The Jade Emperor's Crown, able to take away some of the physical power from some of the players that he's going to be ganking. So a nice look there. Not only is he getting the 20 magical power on it, but he's also going to get some of the power just for having the aura item, thanks to the passive. And so I expect to see, is that going to be a Void Stone that's also an aura as well?
That's definitely going to be a Void Stone. If you're trying to synergize that Ares passive, it needs to be the Void Stone. And funny enough, like, you would normally want Gauntlet of Thebes because that's another aura item. But from the jungle position, much more difficult to stack. You might as well allow Mattypocket to build that item if you are going to do it. Unless there's intentions of maybe building it really late into the game, which some SPL players have been doing for quite some time, actually.
That was the original look. Thebes came out and everybody used it, and it was changed and nobody touched it. And then Raffer resurrected it from the dead when it took when we hit siege time, right? Where you used to sit in lane. You still do. You sit in lane and you try to farm. Sibyl here. All sorts of ults on top of the support play.
This time it was 3 invested to find that kill. The turnaround play from Cope, looking for the return. Kill does get locked in with Uzzy, though.
But Oceans gets the double kill after taking down Cope. MandoWarrior's here, trying to deal with a little bit of everything. But Space Station Gold able to walk away, no problem.
I think that timing from Uzzy's ultimate also prevented the heal, if I'm not mistaken, out of Cope's 9-turn blessings.
Yes.
So couldn't really find any sort of turnaround, making the first kill, which was high execution based onto Sibyl, into a secondary kill, which was just another cleanup kill for them. As, yet again, Space Station continuing this pressure, but they're not up as much gold as you would think they would be with this kind of a kill lead.
Right, and that's really kind of, I mean, that was our problem with the last game as well, totally, that Space Station eventually did win it. Remember last time we were talking about the charts? Yeah, it's still a dangerous chart. But the stuff after the stuff. The problem is for Space Station Gold, and this is, I would say, less a problem for Space Station Gold and more to Team Cryptik's credit. These fights are happening far away from the Gold Fury, which is the only relevant objective at this point in time, you know? So Space Station Gold, Cryptik are forcing these fights on the other side of the mid lane, so when Space Station Gold do get you down, by the time you get the Gold Fury, other people are around. It's a nice look there coming out from Cryptik for sure. But as the game gets later and later, Gold needs to make use of the kills that they're getting. 8-2 is fantastic. It should not be a tie game.
I definitely agree, but the matter is that Oswaald needs some more damage, power spike, to be able to burn that Gold Fury quickly. I think the Executioner, once that gets completed, is when you're really looking to do the Gold Furies.
That's one of the big deals that you don't have. We just spoke all the positives about going with this Ares jungle and how you can abuse some of the characters without beads, and you're going to be able to provide a ton of damage. One of the downsides is Ares does nothing to objectives.
That's right.
And usually you have an assassin. I mean, you go all the way positive, like characters like Kali and Bakasura. Even Naja has Flaming Spear to enable that. You know, junglers in general wind up being lower than carries on the structure, on the damage as far as objectives are concerned, but not by much. Ares, I mean...
It's a landslide.
Yeah.
Because Searing Flesh doesn't do the % damage
Nope.
to jungle bosses. Only jungle minions and lane minions. So that's going to be the popularity risen from the chains.
Yeah, and then chains only hits once.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to triple chains. Ultimate does nothing. Your 2 does 0 damage. One of the few abilities in the game that does 0 damage. Can you name the others?
Door Wall, Kumbhakarna, Mez, Ymir Wall,
Water Carpet.
Cupid Hearts.
Okay, Cupid Hearts. Imagine if Cupid Hearts caused damage
If you walked over it, that would be annoying. Odin Ultimate doesn't do damage.
That's it, though, right?
Yep, Shield.
Space Station Gold are just taking the Gold Fury.
Yeah.
There's no vision from Team Cryptik. That's a big mistake. You can't allow that to happen as Team Cryptik. The vision is below the Gold Fury. You just can't be there.
Yeah, because it's not as if the Cryptik can't steal this objective. It's one thing. It's one thing if you're dealing with, let's say, a god tier composition that you just can't fight into, or rather, you just can't steal it against, like, let's say, a Poseidon and a Cuckoo Cloud. Like, how are you going to steal against that? Sure, right. But, like, here...
And also, if you're down 10,000 gold, who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, but at this point in the game, no, you have to have all eyes on that side of the map.
Oceans with a cute little play there. Beads into the dash to avoid the taunt from Cope. So the ultimate will go down for the jungler. That's that Nike shield. You get a weird, like, Kuzenbo effect.
It's so funny walking with it, too. It's like... I'm coming for you. Just stand still for me. It's like an old lady crossing the street.
I'll tell you kind of tales from the playtest room.
I knew this was eventually going to come up.
At first, she didn't have any movement reduction.
Oh, yeah.
So you would just speed run at people with this shield and knock them back.
Who were you against? Was it Finch?
Yeah, it was Finch, and man, it was just, we had a lot of fun trying to test what was going on with that character, but I'm very happy. I think the shield is very interesting. It's certainly going to be a problem for Team Cryptik's ShadowChair. Some of the other characters I think will be able to, or excuse me, for Space Station Gold's Oswaald and Oceans. The double hunter is a big deal, which is why I like the fact that Cupid is less basic attack oriented. Uzzy here dropping the ult, but really not until Oceans come over that things are scary. Because Cope's going to get popped by one, pulled in is Sibyl, and we know how this goes, Totally. The support is in trouble. Body blocks aren't good enough, though. And Uzzy rarely lets one slip through his fingers like that.
Doesn't look like he was in too much trouble getting out of that one, but ShadowChair in a world apart, going to get ran down by Chapo, going to receive the shell just for good measures. Oswaald able to ride away to the sunset on his horse. After the 2-for-0, no objective on the left, needing to transfer that attention on the right.
Mid lane is going to be the choice. Here comes Chapo providing that big structure damage. Was he the 51?
No, he probably was less than the 51, honestly.
Jade Emperor's Crown, Void Stone.
Witchblade?
Witchblade.
Yeah.
Witchblade, even with just one, well, Copebby is going to be a big deal. Mando, we love you. Stealing. Even with the print.
He's waiting for the jump. He got off the jump, but you're not outrunning the gap rollout. Just clear the wave. Clear the wave and take the L.
For sure. Copebby and ShadowChair will certainly suffer the effects of the Witchblade, which will be another aura item for El Chapo. Kind of fun there.
It does, I think, extra 40 magical power per aura that you're stacking up. So already with an extra 80 power on top of the pen boots and the void stone, he's dealing a lot of damage here, Tom, and it's just going to only increase from here while he's building into this hybrid style. Chapo already with 4, 1, and 5 slash line, a part of 9 of his team's 11 kills.
Nice.
Looking really pretty.
Certainly what you want to see. You want to see that large kill participation. That's really what tells it to you. And so with that in mind, it's a nice look there for what Chapo's been able to do so far. And it's just going to continue going. No aura, actually. It'll be the Relic Dagger, changed in the mid-season patch. 40 seconds off of your relics as opposed to 30 seconds, which
Interesting.
Blink is a big deal to this Ares jungle.
Absolutely. To go from 120 seconds all the way down to 80 seconds, going to be
huge.
A big factor, especially when you're trying to hit multiple targets, connect it, force out multiple purification beads. He'll be in a good spot, even with the Aegis coming off cooldown ever so slightly.
"18 minutes in here, and Team Cryptik have struggled to find a kill. But they haven't really struggled to keep up with SSG. Space Station Gold have definitely been in the driver's seat, but they're going kind of slow. And Team Cryptik, down 9 kills, have still been able to stay within 2,000 gold of their opposition. And that is worth writing home about. ShadowChair jumped onto the back line. Space Station Gold on the top, looking for something different. Big pulls by Ares, and Copebby's going to get flamed up. Meanwhile, down south, Uzzy zoning the entire team. MandoWarrior surrounded by Space Station Gold. Uzzy's going to jump on ShadowChair and Goomba stomp him down. Still Uzzy versus the world. And MandoWarrior falls down finally.
I think Sibyl might be dead here too if Mattypocket can get in range to use that knock-up. Peeling for himself is Bancho under that tier 2 tower. Uzzy not going to give this one up. Does get rooted. Getting an extra tower shot. Should be okay, but he wants blood.
Yeah, Banjo's still alive. Uzzy jump, 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 jump. That's all he's doing. P.S. The Fire Giant's going down. Space Station Gold, baby. What a change from phase number 1.
Feeling themselves for sure, and it had to have started the way it did this game for them to be in this position with the early ganks and pressure from Chapo on the Ares. This time, mechanically, on the Ares, as opposed to the Thor in the previous game, he has not had many misses. It's been a little bit more clutch this time around.
Primal Fury in law. The SSGG as well. So with that, a 6,000 gold, a 12 kill lead.
Did you notice how when Uzzy was casually 1v3ing, by the way, around the Pyromancer, Pyromancer assisted a little bit with that AoE damage.
I did see that.
That was cute.
Just a little bit. That's what you hope for. You love to see you love to see with the Fire Giant knock-up assists in the team fight, you know? Kind of dream of those moments.
It always seems to happen though. Like whenever you're like blinking in for the steal, you're the one getting knocked up.
Of course, yeah. Or you blink into like 3 pools.
But when you're the one defending against the person blinking in, they get in perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
They stun you as the line is coming right up under your feet. You die, they steal it, you cry.
My favorite is still the drive-through Fire Giant, where Guan Yu comes through, hits it once with the ultimate, continues
And just
to ride.
rides away still.
Space Station Gaming riding up the middle, ShadowChair riding all the way back to the fountain. Jumping in the back is MandoWarrior, great initiation, love that play. Look at the shield bouncing players back and forth. MandoWarrior's got all the health in the world, and Space Station Gold do not. Copebby has the flank, but hasn't gone in yet, and that's a problem. He's waited too long, Anatoly. His teammates are dying.
But in the backline alongside is going to be Cope and MandoWarrior now in a 2v5. The sustain out of Space Station is just too much. It's the Hearts and the Fire Giants.
Would you say the sustain is insane? It's
in
like
the membrane.
It's like I'm in your brain. Space Station Gold aiming for the mainframe.
Flying on their plane down the mid lane.
You got it. Go
Hip hop, hooray!
Totally, hooray doesn't rhyme with
I can do it if Eminem can.
That's not true. Right side is going to be the target here for Space Station Gold. Over 10,000 gold in the lead, and they have earned it. A little bit of jank, but I think this jank will become the norm. I don't know if we're going to see Ares jungle every game, Anatoly, but on a serious note, I do think Ares jungle has become not just viable, but obviously it's a Hebo-esque pick, where Hebo jungle, you don't get mad, it's not weird, but it's not every game.
Yeah.
I think that's where Ares fits in.
It's situational, right? Like, you have to be able to calculate, why am I picking this guy? All right, it's not just about, oh, this guy does damage. No, it's also about shutting down Cope, right? Like, between the turtle knockup, the Mink form, shutting down Sibyl on the Terra as well. It's like a 2-in-1, you know? And on top of that, you're putting people in a position where they have to play around your god so much that you might even have to consider going purification beats. But in Sibyl's case, he didn't opt for that option. That's why he had many deaths in that early game.
When you're looking at the Ares, I've always loved Ares Hunbats because you need to beat those ultimates, but you only get one pair. You had to put Ares in support, and then Hunbats goes into jungle, maybe solo if you're crazy. Now with the change to Ares jungle, Ares solo, favorite emo, both applicable. You know, you can both do it. And so it opens up the double beans burn comps, and as you said, it opens up the world of punishing those that get punished by cripple. And so that's where I think you want to see the Ares, whether you put him in the jungle or an odd position, that's where the odd position Ares will come out. When you can abuse the cripple, and that's what we see here, or when you have another must-beat ultimate. Not the case necessarily with Space Station Gold, but Oceans, certainly a part of what's going on.
There's very few gods that can do what Ares does in general.
Really?
Those niche picks, you have to always have them in your arsenal, whether you're jungle or otherwise. You know, Kali comes to mind. It's about being this niche pick where you're suffering that early game, but you have early pressure elsewhere to compensate for that, to get you to that late game form. The Ao Kuang's kind of a similar style where Ao Kuang can easily snowball games by themselves. If allowed to, they just become unstoppable after that occurs.
I like the idea of characters like Wheelish, where you're not going to pick Wheelish unless there are, you know, Bacchus, Odin, right?
Yes.
Now, all of a sudden, well, that's their whole game. We can, you know, negate the whole game. That's where Ares feels comfortable, where it's like, well, they have the Terra and the Erlang Shen. That's their whole game. Cripple them, baby. And that's why Oceans comes through in the clutch as well. That big ultimate. Bancho here trying to run away from Uzzy, who has all the health in the world. And the speed moves.
Good stun, but that's not going to stop Uzzy because he has the blink.
Meanwhile, there's the ultimate going to come out. Bancho in trouble. Too much to handle. And the whole team is on the left side of the map, by the way, because Nike exists.
Yeah, why not? You gotta kill MandoWarrior here.
What's happening?
MandoWarrior was split pushing. I believe it was proxying between the Tier 2 and the Phoenix, trying to delay the push out of Space Station Gold.
The Nike Phoenix dive split push.
I mean, he wasn't gonna get the Phoenix. He has the Tier 2 tower to go through anyway. He just wanted to delay the left side of the map. He got caught out.
I wish fans at home could have seen your shrug.
I was just like, he got caught out.
I guess that's what he's doing. This is what Space Station Gold are doing. Jumping right into the throne room. Uzzy drops the cage. 80% on the big man. Comes help from Cryptik, but all I hear is chains, baby. Tight. Under attack, under siege, and underground. Space Station Gold start off phase 2 hot and take the series 2-1.
Game number 1 and 2, very close. Game number 3, the complete opposite. A good mental bounce back Space Station Gaming Gold were able to do after losing the first game to not only, you know, stall out game number 2 long enough, find the victory there, but 26 minutes in game number 3, 22-2. It looked like they were in control from the get-go.
This was an example of what happens when you have the game plan. We're going to go the Ares jungle. We're going to go the double large cripple. We know how to deal with what they're going to bring. This was fantastic. They knew what they were going to do from minute 1.
Yeah. It was just a different kind of space station, like you mentioned, between Phase 1 and Phase 2. But it's only the first week for them. They need to continue this kind of strategies and continue their aggressive side to find the victories and meet an opportunity at land.
I'm excited. I think this is going to bode well for Space Station Gold and their fans. All we can ask for is more. Right now, we'll talk to the desk.
Hey, you want more? Were you getting more Finch and Taco? I know that's what Tom was truly asking for there. What a big set to close the day out. Space Station Gold, able to get it done here, Taco. And I know that's big for them. This is the exact opposite of the way Phase 1 was going for them, where they were having some struggles, and they would do well early and kind of fade away. This time, they struggled at the beginning and got better as it went on. And then this last game in particular, they really stomped. When you've got a comp that you're confident in, clearly it works for you. And I think it's a lot around Chapo.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe Game 1 was just a little bit of a wake-up call here for Space Station Gold.
A little groggy, maybe.
A little, kind of slow. We don't have to sugarcoat it. I mean, they did get the set win at the end of the day overall, but I think that this Chapo pick for the Ares jungle just sealed the fate for Team Cryptik. There was just such a lack of mobility available for Sibyl. He pretty much was unable to do anything to try and assist his team other than be a meat shield for all the damage that Space Station Gold were happy to keep pumping into him.
Yeah, and then my set MVP has to be Oceans. The Morrigan play in game number 2 that literally ended the game for them by turning into the Thor and just taking down the Titan. And then here in game number 3, with the way that he was able to play this Cupid, it working together with the Ares meant no mobility was ever going to happen, and he got off to a huge start to get things going. So again, congratulations, Space Station Gold. Here's your standings for North America, and this is Hype Unit up at the top, Sanguine there as well, along with Space Station Gold, Cryptik, Exilium, and Armada having some struggles.
Man, this feels weird. It
does look backwards.
It's like Space Station Gold with a 1 win and a 0 in the loss column. I don't know.
And then Armada at the bottom. Yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah.
What is going on right now in the minor league, man? This is crazy. I mean, these are the kind of changes we look for.
Yeah, this is why you have to watch every week. You really just don't know what's going to be happening, except that it's going to be good Smite. So again, hope you all enjoyed some of the games that we had today. If you want more Smite action, check back in tomorrow. We're going to have Esports Weekly happening at 4 p.m. You do not want to miss that. And then the SPL's back Thursday and Friday. That's at 1 p.m. That's all for us here at the SML, though. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Taco, for joining me on the desk. Y'all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.